Happy Thanksgiving, Bills fans. Oh my God. I haven't spent a longer, say 4 days of my life. Oh, thank Christ. I'm not seeing anybody in the chat, but I see some of you guys in here are up in the thing here already. Sorry I took so long to get on. Fuck. Oh, man. That was a long 4 days, guys. That was a long 4 days. We needed that. What's up, Hussein? What's up, Chris? How you doing, bro? Happy Thanksgiving. Um, fucking oh Jesus Christ. It was after last week. I mean, I didn't know. I was just like, look, nothing's a gimme after the Jacksonville game. After this, what's up, Ryan? How you doing, bro? After the Colts, the opener, it's like nothing's a gimme, man. So I'm just like, look, I'm not gonna count this as a W. You're going on the road. You know, Sean Payton's a hell of a play caller. That's a loud dome, and fuck, it was. There was a couple of frustrating turnovers there, but outside of that, and look, there's gonna be people out there. They're gonna say, "Oh, they played a depleted Saints team. The Saints didn't have nobody." That look, I am done apologizing for wins. I remember back in 2013, the Bills went into the whatever it's called now, dome, the Caesar's Palace Dome or whatever, and they had Thad Lewis at quarterback. Okay, they had just take your pick, Chris Gregg at tight end, and I don't want to hear. I'm not apologizing for wins. I'll take it. I'm not apologizing for wins. Bills were down people. They lost Trey White. I don't know for how long. I don't know if it's just for the game. I don't know if it's for weeks. I don't know if it's for the season. You're already down your arguably your two most physical, nasty offensive linemen. You're down your defensive tackle, and then before the game starts, the proverbial inactive list. Sean McDermott threw us a curve on Monday, pretty much saying, look, we're going to start the clock on Marquez Stevenson. He called him Speedy. The second he referred to him as Speedy, I said, he's playing. We know McDermott, CEO, buttoned up. He's not going to refer to a rookie that's done nothing for him in a regular season game, right? By his nickname, tag name. He's just not going to do that. And that kid's going to play. Like, he's going to play. And yeah, I'm just going to enjoy this one right now, Hussein. We got to enjoy this one because these last 4 days have seemed like a lifetime, man. And they were a rough lifetime too. They needed what's up, and they got him up. They sat down, and when we saw the inactives, what's up, Steve? It definitely does, man. That's another reason I fucking finally got to eat after, because I was too nervous. I'm like, I'm fucking eating because I can't fucking, I just couldn't all day. I just couldn't, because I cooked it, but I didn't eat it. So after the game, I finally ate it. And if they would have lost, obviously I'm not eating. So I have to go work off the calories tomorrow at the gym. But be that as it may, everybody was like, maybe McDermott's getting soft. Maybe he's getting lax. Even my friend Eric hit me up a few times. Maybe could that be a possibility? Sits down Isaiah McKenzie after his, hard. I mean, you hate to judge a player on one play. I mean, he's muffed a few kicks, hasn't lost one. Could have potentially lost one in the Miami game that Kumaro recovered. But, to have an error like that in a spot like that, where you have a chance to maybe get back in the game, and it kind of just killed the game at that point for the Bills. He was inactive. Moss is inactive. Vernon Butler was inactive. Basham's been inactive, but those were the three big ones that are like, hey, you guys got to take a seat. And after the way the Bills just got mauled in the run game, and Harrison Phillips was a part of that too, but he played much better tonight. What's up, Damager? But Butler was a constituent of it as well. I mean, it was an all around clusterfuck, that Colts game. Let's just be honest. But this one, they still left points on the board. I mean, that possession before half, I had to go take a shower. I'm like, I'm gonna break something. You should be going down. I mean, I wanted the 17, but I'm like, look, you get a field goal here and you get the ball back. I'll take it because I don't think that team has two scores in it, let alone three. And sure enough, Allen's arms get tipped. The fucking pass gets intercepted. I'm just like, son of a bitch. But outside of that, he had a really good game. He had a really good game. He ran the ball well. The Bills were steady with the run game. It wasn't sexy. It wasn't sexy on the crust of it. 29 carries for what? 32 carries for only 113. Right? Nothing, but it was effective. It kept the defense off balance. They got a few cheap first downs. They sprung a few, particularly Singletary in the second half. He broke a few 10-yarders, was like, hey, we'll take that. You don't have to have Jonathan Taylor. I mean, you wish you did, but just give us something consistent, something steady. And it was like their first possession of the second half. They came out with 2 runs, converted the third down to Beasley, and they got moving. And Dawson Knox breaks Pete Metzelar's record for touchdowns, receptions in a season. I felt like he should have had it at the end of the half. Fuck. Ike Bucker gets caught a little too far down. It just, kind of like Cody Ford's penalty last week, just kills a potential third and short situation. Bill's next play intercepted. Well, following play after the next penalty gets intercepted. So Knox is playing really, really well. You just got to hope he, continues. I mean, 3 catches for 32, but he's becoming a hell of a red zone threat. Bill's offense today was pretty, they said they just went back to some basic stuff. Josh said they didn't do anything sexy, just went back to some base stuff, ran it, and just tried to execute it. Had a miscommunication with Diggs earlier. Thought Diggs was going to go out instead of in. He threw it, and Diggs had already committed out, and Roby was right there. It's just a frustrating miscommunication. Yeah, he should have had 3. And he's looking really, really good. Yeah, I like that he was running hard between the tackles, and that's all you need. You just need, give me a steady 3 to 4, and then eventually, you're gonna pop one like he did. He just popped one. You pop one for that 8, 10, and then Breida, was definitely keeping the defense off balance. Even though he got stopped for a few losses, he broke a few. Then you seen him in the screen game. He just got a crease, bounced off a guy, missed a tackle, took it to the house. Touchdown. Bills win. Allen, 4 touchdown passes, 25 for the year. 82% completion tonight with 2 interceptions. That's pretty impressive. I mean, not many balls on the ground for Allen tonight. And it was pretty, he moved the ball around. Gabe Davis had a few big catches. Shady had a few. I'm sorry. I don't know why I liken them to. I don't know why I liken Shady and Diggs. Diggs had some big catches. He got his 7th touchdown of the year. This is his 3rd straight game with a touchdown. Say Mario Addison reprieved a little bit, got the first sack of the night, had a big stop on a 4th down. They were all crossed up. They didn't know what they were doing, ran the play. Half their offensive line moved, half their offensive line stayed still. And then, Addison was able to get in the backfield for the stuff on Jones Jr., was it? And that pretty much killed him. And it's a shame. It was a couple of times Bills had some short fields they just couldn't get in the first half. They couldn't get that big score, because it could have been 38, 41, nothing, 41-6, whatever. I'll give them that touchdown drive. Bills just took the foot off the gas midway through the 4th quarter. After they got that last touchdown, they just kind of, you pull Allen, you put the backups in. It was just overall, it's what we needed. It's really what we needed tonight. So we'll see. We'll see what, you get 11 days, 11, 12 days now you get a long, mini bye because they're playing Monday night. So that's going to be good for the team. Hopefully now, again, don't apologize for wins. Spencer hopefully gets back. Star gets back. Feliciano gets back. Marquez Stevenson gets another week of practice under his belt, and then you could just kind of go from there and see what's up, Zach. How you doing? Yeah, man, it fucking sucks. Hopefully, hopefully they dodge a bullet, but you never can tell with those non-contact things, man. They're tricky. Um, but nobody's gonna cry for the Bills. Nobody's gonna write the Bills a love song. Nobody's gonna send them get well cards. It's just that's the league, unfortunately. I don't know, man. They were a little aggressive tonight. I mean, you got to be against a quarterback like that. That was one of the frustrating things about the Jacksonville game. They didn't blitz Trevor Siemian a lot. They just kind of like they were hoping he would throw into a mistake, and he never did because they really never took too many chances. It was just, I don't even want to talk about that game. Oh man, let me hit some of the comments here, guys. Happy Thanksgiving, Zach. Neil, Damager, all you guys. Doug, what's up, bro? Yeah, the one Dawson Knox touchdown that got called back, it looked, I don't know what the hell happened because it was 3 offensive linemen went to the left, 2 went to the right, and by some miracle there wasn't no man free running on Allen, and there was a big cluster where he threw it and Knox just went up and caught it. And I was like, holy shit, all right, perfect, 17. And then, the I don't and what's up with NBC? First of all, I was already scared shitless having watched the 2 games that I watched. Man, let's just get this out of the way. That was a bad football game. I went to the gym, it closed early, get back just in time to watch the Lions Bears game. Fucking terrible. Then the Dallas Raider game was good, but is this Ed Hockley Jr.? Was it fucking 28 penalties for 276 yards? That kid should never, because of who he is, who his daddy is. This is the problem. Nope, dude, you don't officiate a game for the rest of the year. You ruined it. You and your crew just went laundry happy. Disgusting. So I was like, I don't know about you guys. I was like, oh Christ, I hope it's not a flag fest. I really do. But yeah, and I saw Bucker down how many yards he was, and then Allen. I was like, oh shit, man, you fucking can't do that, man. Yeah, I don't know what it was. It would look like a cross up that they had, and I was like, I thought it was a busted play. I'm just like, throw it out of bounds. And then when Knox came down with it, I was like, holy shit. So I was, but my excitement quickly dwindled because Allen just got his arm hit by looked like he had Sanders wide open. It looked like he was coming for something else, but when this guy hit his arm, the ball just fluttered just enough for Quan Alexander to intercept it. It was nice to see. The Bills were waiting for one tonight. They were sitting back waiting for one, and Poyer was able to drive on that ball, and the corner just carried him right to Poyer, and he jumped it and got it. And I thought he was going to take it back for a bingo score, but he got tackled. I was like, just go down, just don't get hurt, just don't get hurt. Let me read some of the comments here. You're gonna be at that game? Well, dude, freeze your ass off, man. Freeze your ass off. Enjoy it. I would be enjoying it right now. I mean, just the thought of it. If the Bills had a dome, I would go. I would go to the Monday night game, but I'm not gonna go to Buffalo in December. Sorry. I love the team. I would, if I had access, like easy access, I would go. No problem. I don't care what the weather is. I don't care what the weather is. Nah, they're not going to build a dome, Neil. Why would you do that? I mean, there's been so many games that the Bills have had outdoors that I can think of that you could just tell when a team got down. They did just like, fuck this. It's cold out here. I don't want to be here. What are we going to do? I've seen a few games like that over the years. Not, you know, there hasn't been many meaningful games outside of the last 3 to 4 years, but the previous ones there wasn't many. So I have to go back even further than that. But they're there. For me, it's just part of who they are, and I just and the money, the cost. There's no way that they could put that cost. It's like another $600 million on the construction for the motors that you would need to, because you'd want it to be retractable, right? The motors and the hydraulics you need to open and close that thing are insane. They're mad expensive. Let me read some of the comments, guys. Trevor, all right, man, you're gonna be going. Um, yeah, Christian. No, you can leave that up, dude. Um, you can leave that up, dude. Because McDermott said that earlier, and I thought that something happened during the game too, where I was like, damn, they didn't get a call on Allen because he got hit in the face mask. The guy came and whacked the shit out of him, and he was sitting there like, yo, what the fuck? He hit me in the head. And the ref is kind of like, and like, dude, he whacked him. You saw his face mask go to the side. And there was another run too where it was a Singletary. It got stuffed for nothing. But I saw his head get jerked. I was like, holy shit, face mask. They're gonna 15. Nothing. So I was like, I was looking for anything to move the ball, but yeah, it seemed like the refs for the most part in the game weren't too flag happy. I mean, they even picked up a flag on the Bills, so I was happy about that. Yeah, that whole thing was shady. That was just that whole situation was shady. And if you look back at all the stuff that was the Rams were doing under, they were just letting the league send them to England and London and play. They didn't care. They were doing other things. They let them do Hard Knocks multiple times. They did the whole Michael Sam publicity stunt, and then they released them. For me, it was a one hand washes the other thing. Like you do X, Y, and Z, we'll get you to LA, because that's the settlements. There's a non-disclosure agreement. Nothing ever gets revealed to the public, and everybody just goes away. So yeah, that's the league being the league. He was good, man. The interception sucked. I mean, the one was a miscommunication. The other got his hand hit. If he would have went inside earlier to Sanders, he would have had it. But I don't know what he was looking for because his hand got hit, so the ball never got. I got 5. I'll put it to the toe. I think yeah, there was a couple of plays Granderson got him, but he recovered, and then there was another couple of plays. Look, I know he got hit with a couple of calls, but I'd much rather see him take a hold than let a guy have free run on Allen. I'm sorry. Like, I'd rather see him take a hold than have a guy just barreling down and having one clean crack at him. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll take the 10-yard penalty. Fuck it. Honestly, don't think intercept. It was tough. It's 50-50. Ultimately, he has the ball in his hands. But all in all, I thought the offensive line had a solid game. Not a great game, but a solid game, a bounce back game. They didn't really have a bad game last week. It was just such an ugly game for the defense, and the offense didn't have any rhythm passing. They didn't stick to the run, so it just, was not a good. It was not a good. No, he got hurt. Something happened with his arm. He had to have it retaped or something because he wears an elbow brace. He was having that done. Bates came in. He got hurt. Jamil Douglas came in, but Ford finished the game. I know. Reggie Gilliam left with an ankle. Was declared out. I know Trey, which is hopefully Jesus Christ. I mean, that could be huge, but again, nobody's gonna cry for the Bills, so you got to just keep, knock on wood, he's okay, because non-contact is crazy. No, I understood what you were saying, Christian. 100%. You don't have to take back the messages. No, because McDermott went on like a little tangent about that in the press conference. I was kind of like, yo, what the hell? He was pissed about it. He's like, I thought Josh got hit earlier, but I was like, and there was another situation too he was mentioning, but he's like, I had my say about it, and he let it go. me read some of the comments here. Is it just me, or does everyone else kind of hold their breath every time? I thought he did well. I thought he punted well. The special teams tonight played great. Played great. I mean, Stevenson had the one muff. It's like, dude, come on, man. You can't do that in that situation. Short field. And then he had another where, he had a really nice return on a punt. He like 18 yards. He bounced off a guy, went forward for another like 7, set the Bills up and good. I think they scored a touchdown on that drive too. I think that was the Breida, the screen touchdown drive, as a matter of fact. Um, yeah, I mean, it's possible. I thought that too. I was like, is it possible? But no, they went with the same starting five that they've had for the last 3 weeks. No, last 2 weeks anyway, and then the week before, when Jacksonville, and it was solid. Again, it was solid, but they stuck with the run game. I know there was some score effect involved with that, but they just stuck with it. And I mean, everybody wanted the message sent, and it was sent. I mean, guys were made inactive that didn't play well or had no impact on the game or made terrible errors. So, there you have it. I mean, McKenzie, that was a little bit of a shock. I thought maybe they would take some pressure off of him, let him just focus on kicks, or maybe even let him to return to his role on offense. Nope, he just got sat down. So that was pretty. Yeah, Eli Anoki. Yeah, number 51, Eli Anoki. He's been he's kind of like a Justin Zimmer type. He's been all over the league, played here, played everywhere, and he took Vernon Butler's role on defense tonight. And Brandon Bryant came in and played defensive tackle. He looked solid. He had a couple of run stuffs. Yeah, McDermott wasn't playing. He was not playing. He was like, we're gonna stop the run tonight. We're not gonna get beat up. And what's funny to me? I don't know if the Bills press corps was confused, or they were just they just didn't do some research. They were talking all week like Taysom Hill was going to play, and I'm like, don't these guys know he's hurt with a foot injury? Like, don't they know like he's hurt? And I guess maybe they caught up in his contract extension, because I watched some New Orleans stuff and listened to some New Orleans stuff. Like, I don't really stay in the Bills bubble when they're playing an unfamiliar opponent like that. And so I went and watched, some Sean Payton press conferences, and was it Times Picayune or some shit like that? I read a few of their beat writers, and yeah, it's like Taysom Hill is just going to be the emergency guy. He's basically break glass in case of emergency. I'm like, okay, but the Bills beat guys were talking like it was going to be like I would just ram Taysom Hill. I'm like, he's not going to play. I didn't say anything. I'm nobody, but I just think that they could have done a little bit of looking around and seen that. Yeah, it was big having them back tonight. Oliver was huge. It sucks. He got half a sack. I think it should be a whole sack, because Obata came in and just kind of touched Simeon on the head, which was like, oh, Jesus Christ, don't touch his head. I don't want a 15-yard penalty. But then Oliver got a 15-yard roughing the passer on a, I think it was Marquez Callaway catch too. So I was like, it's 30 yards right there. Come on, man. But he was looking to, and it even looked rough. I thought he hit him in the chest, not the head on the replay. But they're so sketch with these replays anymore, what they show, don't show. Even the flag sticker was coming up. It's like, oh, there is a flag down. I'm like, well, the flag thing's not up on the damn screen. I was happy. I'm not a fan of Tarico's, but I'm just happy it wasn't Collinsworth and is his partner Al Michael. I was just so happy it wasn't those two. So happy. Yeah, he was good. He was good against Dallas too. I remember didn't he have a forced fumble against Dallas also? I think Jerry Hughes recovered it also, if I replay that in my head. Yeah, man, it's been swollen. It's crazy. That's why this 11-12 day break is going to be excellent. Excellent. You give the guys a long weekend, get them back on Monday, go light and lovely on them. And then that way you could have a full week of practice. You could have a full week of prep, and you can just, go from there. That's, he was, but he was good. I mean, no drops, very sure-handed, went up and caught the ball. Even the touchdown that got called back, he just goes up in a crowd and catches it. Because when Allen threw it, I'm like, holy shit, look at all those bodies there. I saw Saints there, I saw a couple of Bills, and then just Knox just elevates and catches it. I'm like, oh shit, there's the record, 7 touchdowns. And then it was fucking, oh man. Man, I don't know, Damager. It looked like his knee went. And hopefully it's something, not an ACL. Maybe it's an MCL or a PCL, and maybe, it'll be weeks instead of the season. But, it's, I think he was pissed because they do these little tests, and these trainers and doctors know pretty much if it's intact or not just by that test, that stability test that they do, and I don't think there's an MRI machine in the Superdome. So the only way they get images is if, they get them on a plane and get them back to Buffalo so they can look at it correctly. When he went out, and I didn't see any of the writers putting anything crazy out there. I just said he went to the bench, then he was declared doubtful. And then I looked at the score and the opponent. I was like, well, they're not going to put him back on the field, not on that turf. They'll just play it safe with him. And then, you just hope he's okay. Yeah, man. I just, what it is with Trevor? It's like people will still treat the Patriots like they're the Tom Brady led Patriots. It's like Troy Aikman the other night. It was when it was Thursday with Atlanta, and Atlanta's trash. They're just hapless, and they're just a hapless team. Period. They're going nowhere. They're going to be in rebuilding mode. Matt Ryan looks shot, and they're talking about, and they didn't have anything about them. And the Patriots they only scored 1 touchdown. The other touchdown was on a Kyle Van Noy interception. Terrible pass and he's talking, well, he's going to be their quarterback for 10, 15, 18 years. I'm like, really? A rookie with 11, 10 starts? You want to fucking calm down there a little bit, dude? Who dinks and dunks his way. It's just, they're always going to get the proverbial pass until ding dong, the witch is dead. If they took a piece of shit, put it in a Patriot uniform, and put the Minuteman helmet on it, they would declare that piece of shit to be, the next best thing. That's just the treatment they get, man. It's just, I'm used to it. It doesn't affect me. It's just like, it gets a little like, okay, enough already. But it's just until Belichick is completely gone in a few years, that's just what you're gonna get. It's good, bro. How you doing, Matt? Yeah, man. It's just nice. It's nice. I was happy they played today so they can get it out of their mouths. We get it out of our mouths, and I was just like, holy shit. If they lose this fucking game, how the hell am I gonna spend the next, because you already got the Colts game on your head and in your heart. Nobody had any good night's sleep. Nobody's meals tasted good. It was all in the back of our head. All we saw was Jonathan Taylor, running, it was disgusting. What a good player, though, man. What a good player. I remember when he was running track here in Jersey, and I would hear about him. And Wisconsin does a big recruiting swing through here. They do a huge, because I'm here by in New Jersey City. I have St. Peter's Prep. Minka Fitzpatrick went there. I remember seeing Minka play in high school, and Brandon Windbush was his quarterback. He was terrible. All they did was just get the ball. Minka played 2 ways, and all that kid did was take off or just try to hand the ball to Minka or throw to him. That's all they did. But then there's Don Bosco and North Bergen, where Brian Cushing went. Just such a good player. Let me read some of the comments, Zach. They're media establishment honks now, and they're just you just Brewski and Harrison, and there's so many, even in local radio, that they're not like, I know I think Ted Johnson's on radio in like somewhere like Houston. I know there's a few others that even if they're not with the Patriots, they're on other places. It's so annoying. It's like Boomer here in New York. He's in with the Jets. He knows a lot about the Jets. He hears a lot about them, and he's still like, kind of like, well, I played for them. And there's a couple of guys like that, but he's the main one here anyway. Read some of the comments, guys. Yeah, I can't stand them. I'm so over them, bro. I hope the Bills bury them on Monday, and I hope they make that kid look like a rookie, because he is a rookie. Make him look like a rookie. Make him look like a rookie. Period. I I haven't recovered from the opener. Yeah, it is. It's like, hey, you're a former Patriot. You knew this, you knew that. You're in like Flynn, so you just fuck. Read some of the comments here. The Patriots are rotten from the top to the bottom. Yeah, they just everything about that team. It's just the way that they're covered. It's the way that the media covers them, and it's the national people, even some Bills people that still like acquiesce to them and like talk about them, and like Jerry Sullivan. Oh my God, he's a proverbial Bill Belichick bootlicker, completely annoying curmudgeon guy. Like, dude, you're the reason sports, like, people like him are the reason you guys will come and listen to an asshole like me. Like, I don't know anything. I'm not special, but you're not going to go out of your way to read anything Jerry Sullivan writes, because he's a douchebag and he's arrogant. And there's a few other guys who cover the Bills who are arrogant, that they constantly push shit in your face, and they'll try to pick at Bills fans, especially after a loss like last Sunday. And you're just like, you know what? Fuck you. Why am I going to click on your links? Why am I going to give you traffic? Why would I subscribe to this, that, or the other? You're a dick. Sal Mayorana too. Like, he's a Bills fan, but he's like an annoying old man. He's like a get off my lawn old man. Like, young cats. Like, I'm not the youngest cat, but I still pretty virile. Still can move. Still, like, you don't want to see some gray hair old man like. No, you're young. You want to see fresh young dudes talking about sports, not fucking tired old men. Grumpy bastards too. Let me read some of the comments, guys. What's up, Dread? How you doing, bro? What have they had Jameis Winston played? I don't know. Jameis could throw 5 touchdowns or 5 picks. So I was listening to WFAN for a while because of he was, yeah. You hear he does a Beningo does a podcast now. It's, you could tell he still wants to be in it, but they kind of moved him out because they knew Carton was coming back, and they threw him on there with Evan. So, he's still, let me see, Doug. Yeah, I want to see, Spencer get back. Hopefully Trey is okay, but I'm not holding out any hope, man. Anytime I see an injury like that, I just assume the worst, and just so I can get my mind around it. But we were missing a lot of people tonight, that important people too. 2 most physical offensive linemen, our most physical run defender. So yeah, I'm not sitting here cry for me Argentina. And it's just, still a certain segment of self-loathing Bills fans that make me sick, that it just seems like we have to wait. The only way you can legitimize a Bills win, right? And I'm not a Nick Saban fan, but he went off on this tangent, and I kind of agreed with it. I'm like, look, those players put in a lot of hours. They put in a lot of time. It's a physical game. They're the ones out there putting their bodies, their limbs for it. And it hurts when they lose. It hurts them probably more than we can know. It hurts us. I mean, we're in our own misery, but I'm sure it hurts them too, because they were on the receiving end of the ass whooping. It's like a boxer. It's like nobody's going to feel bad. I mean, you took those punches. And he's like, just appreciate that a little bit. It's like there's a certain segment of fans will only legitimize a Bills win if it's that team had like 20 Pro Bowlers on it and the Bills won by 24. That's the only way that they'll take the W, as being good. And even there's some media like that. Oh, the Bills can beat up. Like, dude, have you not looked around the fucking league? Like, have you, like, there was a few like I said, the Bills people that cover them. Like, have you not watched the league this year? Crazy losses are happening. Crazy wins and losses are happening every week. So chill the fuck out. Let me read some of the comments, guys. Sorry I went off on that tangent, but still, it's like nobody wants to listen to these grumpy old fucks talk about sports because they're annoying. Sullivan was on podcast. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have listened to it then. Or Neil, God bless you if you did. If they shut the Pats run game down, yeah, that's what you have to do to that team because they're going to try to come at you. And I know Harris has had some ball security issues this year. He's put the ball in the dirt a few times, and they kept going to him because they had to. And then they got De'Mondre Stevenson. You know, he's a pretty big back, but he's a rookie. So they're gonna try to run it. They're gonna try to play big man football and run it and make things, you know, clean and easy for Mac Jones. That's what they're gonna do. You have more. It's not. I'm not insight. It's just like I have a passion for the team. I love the team. I can get my pom poms and cheerlead and be a fanboy and all that shit, and I could still crush them when they lose and when they play like shit. But I still love them. We still love them. We still want them to win. We're disappointed because they didn't win. We want to see them win. We're disappointed for them. But some of these guys either take a little glee in rubbing in Bills fans, and I'm like, look, you're not being an objective. You're being an asshole. And then if certain things like, oh my God, it's like when McDermott tried to draw them off sides and he punted and the Bills were up 24-6. I'm like, okay, I get it. Why are you going to give that team any life if you give them the ball at midfield, if you don't convert that shit? What happened? The Bills punted, 3 and outed the Saints, got the ball back, and went down and scored the touchdown that won the game. That not sealed, pretty much just not won it, but just ended it. So what was all that complaining about on Twitter? Just wait for the people are just it's so victim of the moment. That's one of the worst things about Twitter is people become such victims of the moment and they just go nuts on that fucking thing. Yeah, he's a Zach. He's such I don't think that man has any joy in life. What's up, Jason? How you doing, bro? Read something. Yeah, I remember that shit. I also remember him blowing up Knox and forcing a fumble on Allen too that game. Yeah, that's true. Steve makes a really good point. See, that's why you guys are here. And you drop these nice nuggets in here too. Because like I've always said, you guys are you guys know just as much, if not more, about the team and about the sport than any of these guys, these blue check brigades. Don't give them any like look at the Giants, for example, right? Everybody knows they should have fired Jason Garrett long ago. So what do? These football genius, a Patriots disciple. He lets him go into the bye week, game plan for the game. Coming out of the bye week, they throw up 10 points. The only touchdown they scored was off an interception, and they were at the 3 inside the 5. And it was a touchdown to Andrew Thomas. That was it. 10 points. Fires him the next day. So don't let these football people, lifers, tell you that they're so like anybody watching I see a lot of the games because I'm here in North New Jersey. I'm like, look, this guy's offense is telegraphed. It's unimaginative. The plays are stale. I can even, like, if I'm some douchebag here in Jersey telling you what the play is, whether run, pass type of play, it's like, imagine what these coaches and all the other teams think. So don't even give them too much credit. A lot of them are just establishment honks who, perfect example, Ed Hockley Jr. got the right last name. Has no business on an NFL field. Ruining a game like that. Ruining it. Throwing flags all over the place. I'm sorry about that tangent. Let me read some of the comments, guys. Who picked? Oh, of course he would. I mean, he would literally rim. He would toss Bill Belichick salad. He would toss Bill Belichick salad if you let him. Just give him a little syrup. In Beningo's podcast, I have no clue. I know his wife got on there once because he didn't know how to work the thing. It was pretty fucking embarrassing. Yeah, man, we need him back. We need him back. I mean, the offensive line played solid tonight, Matt. So I want to give them a little cred. I'll pat them on the ass when they and the head when they do well, and I'll criticize the shit out of them. But he's a difference maker. He's a difference maker, and hopefully Feliciano gets back and get him ramped up and go, because him at the left guard and Brown at right tackle. That's our apex line right there. Oh, we all have it, Trevor. We all have it. But that's what makes these wins so much better. These evenings so much better. How much better are you guys going to sleep tonight? Come on. How much better are we sleeping tonight? How much better our meals tasting? How much better our shop? It's all better. So, oh, Corey's miserable. They didn't win by 50, and the win doesn't count. Like, there's an asterisk. There's the Corey asterisk. The Bills didn't win by 50. Saints had a bunch of injuries, and they're going to lose the rest of their games. That's just a self-loathing, miserable fan. I would just actually ask him face to face, why do you watch the team? Why do you go? Why? What's your purpose? I mean, I know all of us, if you're in this room right now and me, you sit and live and die with each play this team runs. You know that. On offense and defense and special teams. We all do. We live and die with every fucking play. It's like sometimes we even ask ourselves, boy, why do we put ourselves through this? This is why. This feeling. That's why. No dopamine hit like it. I mean, there is, but this is a pretty fucking good one. Let me read some of the comments, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you for everybody who's in here. Happy Thanksgiving. I have it at midnight. This is my grandmother's passed, so I have her. This is her serving. So I do it every night at midnight when, for her. And then the Bills game was on, so it kind of just all. And then I didn't really want to eat because I was so fucking nervous about this game. Garrett was a fall guy. Joe Judge. Yeah. What's up, Jake? How you doing, bro? Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that, man. He's probably in a closet somewhere, like sucking on a bottle. I don't know. That kid's just miserable. But I really appreciate that. I met so many good people doing this. That's what's worth it to me. That's why when I see these Bills people poaching people, like with their shady shit that they do on because a lot of them apparently know people that can create like sites and do podcasts and all that stuff. I don't go into that deep into it. I just do this and have fun with it. But then, like I've told you before, they're arrogant as fuck too. They think that they can just go there, and I would love to see their hubris with NFL players. They would tell you go fuck yourself, because those are some hardcore jocks. They don't fucking play. I'm actually no, it's all good, Ryan. Get some sleep, bro. Yeah, you're actually gonna sleep. Yeah, those last week was miserable, bro. I was laying in that bed just staring at the ceiling like, oh my god, I was fucking miserable. What's up, Midnight? How you doing, bro? Got to wake up at 8 a.m. Not sleeping too good, to be honest. Yeah, I wasn't at all. 10 days to amp. Yeah, that's huge, Doug. Against them too. That's important. At home, Monday night in our place. That's huge. You know what? Cody Ford did not play bad tonight. He did not play bad. I just keyed on him. Dawkins had a little bit of hard time with Granderson. Granderson was giving him fits, and you saw after the game, because they both went to Wyoming. Josh, he was like taking Granderson's jersey. He's like, "You motherfucker, I'm taking your jersey. You sacked my ass, you son of a bitch." But Williams and Ford had where they were solid on the right side. No problems with them tonight whatsoever. Christian, can the NFL not decide to the? Oh, I don't know, man. It's just what they do. I don't know what they do with their crews or what their protocols and whatever their process is, but it's terrible. It's terrible. Like that Dallas game at the end, well, most of it was just like it became a thing. Like I had a clicker on my phone, and I'm like, how many flags are they gonna throw? Just then I started clicking it. Like I found the total, and I'm like, I'm gonna click every time they throw a flag, and it was up to 27. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. What's up, Matt? You've been watching? Yeah, man, I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, it's all good, bro. I mean, that's why, like me, I know plenty of guys, politics, this and that. I don't gotta like your politics to like you. I don't gotta like your views on A, B, and C to like you. And if you do view things other than me, I'm not gonna hate you. I'm not gonna not talk to you, not talk to you anymore. That's craziness. That's crazy. That's tribal craziness. That's insane. Who thinks like that? Like I don't want everybody thinking like me. I'm not a conformist. I don't need everybody to think like me and be like me and view the world the same way I view the world. I view the world the way I view it because of the experiences I've had in life and the things that I've seen, and I'm 50 for me is right around the corner. So I've seen a decent amount of stuff. I'm not the oldest dude, but I'm not the youngest. Yeah, we need a break, Damager. That's for sure. We need a break, man. I sure. Yeah, I mean, I just try to like I don't try to like be an asshole. I just try to be like, hey, like I'll just sometimes it's a tongue in cheek response, like just appreciate you, have a nice day. Some it's like kind of smart assy, but I don't want to get into a Twitter war. What's the point? I don't see them, they don't see me. I'm not gonna do that. I don't got no time for that shit. What's up, Jake? How you doing, bro? Yeah, you got to enjoy them, Jake. People again, you get the self-loathing Bills fan or the media honk that wants to explain away wins, but if the Bills lose to Jacksonville, they're banging on keys destroying the Bills. But I'm like, you better praise them if they beat a team that's injury depleted too, because that's not the Bills' fault. That's how the Saints came into the game. And again, how many Bills games have we watched over the years where the Bills were just decimated by injuries at quarterback, at skill position? I remember they had like Boom Heron at running back one game. Jeff Toole was the quarterback. It's a fucking mess. Chris Williams couldn't block he couldn't block a blocking sled. Was that offensive line? I think Cyril Richardson was one of the guards. This is terrible, terrible. I remember there was a Thursday night in Miami I think it was the KC loss, the one where Bryce Brown fumbled the ball out of the back of the end zone. What a terrible loss that was. And Marone like punted from like the 36. I've seen too many games like that. I'm not apologizing for wins. Not apologizing at all. Oh, of course they do, Zach. They want us to try to kill each other. They want us in the streets drawing each other's blood. That's what they want. That's just not. I'm not gonna kill. No. Yeah, you saw that too, Doug. He was like ripping it off. And I like the fact that they're getting Josh out of there in some of these games. Like even last week, you're getting your shit handed to you. You don't need to keep him out there to take on any unnecessary abuse or have some crazy shit happen with him. Just get him out of the game, put Trubisky in, and just go from there. Yeah, it would be scary if yeah, seriously. I think some shit like I used to think when I was younger of like, damn, why did I think that? Like had no perspective on life, totally naive. Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, this team reminds me a little bit of the 89 team, where and the 89 team had so many personalities and future Hall of Famers. You didn't know like how how big those personalities were because they rolled in, they had the 12-4 AFC championship, they didn't win. And then the next year, it's like we're finally going to take that step. And instead, they took a little bit of a step back and we're a 9-7 team. So, three. still got 6 games left, so there's still what McDermott likes to call meat on the bone, meat on the bone. That it's weird. 17 games. I don't know. Do you guys still wish it was 16? I mean, I hope they don't go to 18 because some of these it's just going to be terrible if they do. At least guys ain't going to be able to. There's going to be injuries going into the playoffs. But you know what? You got to play with a target on your back. Would you rather be the Bills in the hunt or the Bills trying to win the division and get home playoff games? That's what I want. Oh, they are? Oh my god. Oh my god. See, Zach, do I like Nick? He's all right. I mean, he's good on the radio. I mean, he's like sometimes he gets a little into his opinion, but like he's good with the callers, and I respect if somebody's good with the callers. Like he'll interact with the callers. Well, there was a guy on there. I think his name was Pete. I did not like. He was arrogant son of a bitch. He went to Minnesota. I think his name was Pete Cargis or something like that, or some. I think it was. Don't quote me on the name. See, I would want 2 bye weeks at 17 games, dude. I want 2 bye weeks at 17 games. These guys go through hell. And you're playing a Thursday night game. In England, I like what they do. I'm not a fan of anything from England other than the soccer. They should give the guys the Christmas holidays off. They should just be like, you know what? Nobody plays on the holidays. You guys get to be home with your families. I don't know why. I'm like that. Your buddy's a Falcons fan, and I always talk to him like Yeah, it is. It's stressful. I mean, when you're a fan of a team, how many years was this like, maybe we'll run into a 9-7 and get into the playoffs. Let's just be in the hunt at the end of November. Like that's such a stale week old milk. Sick of it. Don't want to be there. Sick of being there. Yeah. It's weird. It's only for me, odd numbers are only good for fighting sports, combat sports, because you can avoid the draw. That's why I don't like 12 rounds of boxing. The old championship rounds is what I grew up with. And I remember those as a kid. I have to tell people, like, I know some kid, he watched Rocky for the first time ever. And it was so weird for me. And he said, when he's like, this is a movie, they're fighting 15 rounds. And I'm like, yeah, they used to fight 15 rounds in championship fights. He's like, get the fuck out of here. I don't believe it. And then he went and looked it up and saw it. I'm like, see, they fought 15 rounds. He's like, how the fuck did they fight 15 rounds? I'm like, yo, men were cut different back in the day, dude. Don't tell me how. Yeah, Buffalo beat, yeah, they gotta, getting those 2 games will be massive, dude. Massive. Because you got to believe the Bills are going to beat the Jets, right? So they'll have swept them too. New England's already got a loss to Miami. They have to play them again. Okay. They have to go to Miami. And historically, for some reason, New England does not do well in Miami, even with Tom Brady. And Miami's playing a little bit better. They played us tough in Buffalo. And thankfully the Bills just were able to pull away late. Rattle off, was it 23 unanswered, 24 unanswered. So that's not a gimme for New England. Nothing's a gimme for New England. People can act like everything's a gimme. They still got to play the Colts. We saw what they're capable of. Tennessee's a tough team. So what? They just lost to Houston. Bills lost to fucking, all they needed to do was put one touchdown drive together. 9.9, they could have done it. Instead, they just couldn't get out of their own way that day. For 60 minutes, they couldn't get out of their own fucking way. So, like, I'm not going to, I'm just going to take it as it comes. And you never know with injuries how the anything could happen. I already knew what he was about because of all the shit I would hear here in Jersey and would hear about him and see about him and how they ran their team and how the Bills were beating up on them with Marone and just even it's just like that guy he was a hot mess, man. You hear him on the radio, you see him on TV too. He's a clown. He's another one. It says he had some great defenses with Hall of Famers, but if Buddy Ryan's not his daddy, are those 2 fat fucks still in the league? Are they? Did they get a shot? They just got the right last name. A lot of these guys have the right last name. Yeah, the Titans lost to the Texans. This guy threw 4 picks. Like, anything could happen, man. Yeah, I mean, you can't assume anything with these games, Doug. Like everybody is. It's just, again, there's this mindset. Everybody is just fixated. Like, New England can't slip. New England is somehow like they're back. I need to see a hell of a lot more. A lot more. They've played people at the right time. They shouldn't apologize for their wins either. But again, Bills beat them last year. They can beat them again. Period. And I think our lines are better this year. You get Feliciano, you get Brown back on the offensive line. I think this offensive line this year is better than one last year. And we have Breida. We didn't have Breida last year. Knox is playing at a high level. Wasn't playing at this level last year versus New England. And having Daboll, they know how they get ready for games. Steve put it up in the room. I'm sure he had a year with Mac Jones. I'm sure he knows what he's about a little bit. Just like Daboll game planning with Tua. He knows what he's about a little bit. Jalen Hurts, same thing. So that helps. He has a few assistant coaches on his offensive. Ryan Wendell, who's a Bills assistant offensive line coach, was a player for the Patriots. He knows how they get ready for games. He knows they're, so it what is it? It's like in boxing, matchups make fights, styles make fights. And that's what football games are. Styles make fights. So we're going to see. Just beat them, Doug. That's it. Beat them twice, and the rest is history. And you know what? You never know what could happen in the playoffs. The 1 seed could lose, and then you're home for the rest. That's all. That's all that matters. Yeah, I'm rooting for them also, midnight. I'm rooting for them. Do they play at 1 o'clock, or is it a night game? I'm not sure. Let me see, Damager. Never seen a guy be so proud and claim to fame as 2 straight division wins. Who's that? Is that Mac Jones? Tennessee lost in a division round. Yeah, I mean, that could happen to any team. Any team. That is the extra wild card round. Yeah, I mean, no more. It's weird. It's like, but I think there's some thing where the winner of the Super Bowl, like I know KC they had a bye. I know Tampa Bay didn't have a bye, and they're an older team too. They're a much older team than the Bills are, and they had to take the long way to the playoffs, and they did it. So I remember the Giants twice had to take the long way to the playoffs. So sometimes you get on a roll and you don't want to stop. And sometimes that 2 weeks can kill you. I've seen that happen too. Oh, Rex Ryan. Oh, God. Yeah. That's, when you do things in New York, man, it's like you do them. It's like doing them 1,000 times in some other place. It's weird the way that they're pumped up. It's like if you do one thing for Dallas and one thing for the Bills, you know damn well it being done in Dallas is going to be magnified by 1 trillion. And there's no way to get around that. Oh, he's gone, Trevor. He is gone as gone could be. He's just counting the days, buddy. Oh, it's a 1 o'clock midnight. All right. Yeah, I didn't know if they had flexed it. I didn't know if it was a 4. I didn't know if it was Sunday night and Monday. I was just so miserable, guys, like the rest of you dudes, about Sunday and that Colts game. And I don't know what it was. I know they're old teammates, and I know the Colts are doing this thing on HBO Max, their Hard Knocks, and it was just something about Frank Reich, having dinner with Steve Tasker, who works for the Bills. He's on One Bills Live. He does a lot of media stuff with the Bills, and then Bruce Smith and all the Colts players talking. I was like, for me, I'm just like, all right, can't you do that shit after? It's just kind of like sleeping with the enemy. Like, I don't want these dudes. Like, I'm an asshole. Like, if I'm Bruce Smith, I'm gonna be like, I'm not telling you guys. I mean, I would talk to the players respectfully and be like an older player, but I wouldn't show them any of my secrets. I would show young Bills players my goods. It's like when I heard him tutoring Miles Garrett, I'm like, why the fuck is he tutoring Miles Garrett? Shouldn't he be like around the Bills showing AJ Epinesa something if he wants to show somebody something? I don't know. That's just me. I'm just being an asshole, maybe. I don't know if you guys think like that, but apparently it's something that they do. Anytime they get together, they go to this Italian restaurant. So they're older guys. They played for decades with each other. Maybe I'm just being a douche. We hate the Patriots. Just imagine what the Jets won. Oh my God. Oh. Yeah, Damager. I just didn't like it. Something about it I just didn't like. I'm just like, couldn't they do that after? Oh, if they won one, it's like the Giants winning, and not only winning, but beating the Patriots. Here it was massive. It was, oh my God. Like, I remember this kid, he was a Patriot fan. He was in the middle of the street because he had talked so much shit because of they were what, 17 and 18, what were they, were 18 and 0, and he was just running off at the mouth. He was just like, it was a lock, stock, barrel win. It was like, there's no way this is going to be a blowout, blah, 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 blah. That kid was in the middle of the street on his hands and knees crying like a baby, and people were still talking shit to him. They showed no mercy to that kid. Big, fat Cuban kid named Alejandro. He deserved it, though. He was a real douche that whole season. Arrogant as shit. Imagine watching your team win all those games and then losing the last one. Oof. That's a rough, but, couldn't happen to a better team. Was he? I don't know. I don't think he interviewed, because I know he was with the Eagles, and I know he got fired as the Chargers offensive coordinator, and he had interviewed for a head coaching job. Can't remember which, but I don't think he ever got interviewed by the Bills. So, but he might have. I don't think he did, though. Let me read the some of the comments here. I watched the video where they showed the all 22. The Bills were run all sorts, all spots, all game. Colts ran a lot of sets. Yeah, they were showing like tendency breakers. They just ran basically against the Bills' tendencies, and the Bills stayed in nickel, and they didn't bring the extra linebacker, and nobody won at the point of attack, man. Nobody did. I mean, there's the images, and there's the little clips and cut ups of, Harrison Phillips going flying like a child, and Butler was getting blown out of his gaps, and they were getting 3-4 yards, and then a lot of times it was like, well, you got a guy as talented as Taylor running at you. He's turning those into 10-15 yards. So our backs aren't as talented as his. Maybe our line isn't, but as a whole, I know our quarterback is better. Our passing game is better. You don't need to be better. You just, what they did tonight, stay steady with it, stay consistent with it. You pop a few 10+ yarders late in games, keep your down and distance going, the clock moving. That's all the Bills need right now. That's all the Bills need. The Bills running game this year is better than last statistically, and with rushing touchdowns too, by a lot. Oh, Namath here is still like, I saw Namath jerseys at the game. Like, I saw Namath jerseys at the game. Literally. Yeah, Mila was a good luck charm. She was over here for Thanksgiving dinner with my girl, and she was like, she was pissed she couldn't see the game, so, but because it's too late. But she was a good luck charm today. Let me read some of the comments, guys. Really appreciate everybody in the room. Thank you so much. Everybody's different time zones, different different points in the day. Hopefully a lot of you guys have tomorrow off. Hopefully a lot of you guys got the long weekend. So knock on wood for that. I think that Poyer said he was one of the toughest. Yeah, he's the kid. What the kid like? I remember him running track in Jersey, a little bit of football, but he was a track guy that played football. Like that's what I remember. And then when he went to Wisconsin, they would talk about him like Ron Dane because Ron Dane was from Jersey, went to Wisconsin, and it's kind of a thing where people say like, oh, don't draft this player because he's got so many carries in college, and he plays in a run friendly system. People really missed on Taylor badly. I tweeted it on the Monday night game that Jonathan Taylor is everything that Saquon Barkley was supposed to be, because Saquon has no contact balance. He the first guy just knocks him down. He doesn't seem like he gets any explosive runs. He looks like a bigger version of CJ Spiller. That's sad. That's a second overall pick. Not the Bills' problem, but I know plenty of Giant fans who are just beside themselves about that. What a bad pick that was. They're just beside. Poyer's Poyer. If Poyer does not go to the Pro Bowl, the whole Pro Bowl system's fucked. It's ceremonial. It's not. It's just he's really playing possessed. He's playing like a man possessed. No doubt about it. His first year, he looked like he was going to be really good. And he's had some great moments. I mean, the peace out against the Eagles, but he's always injured. It just Devontae Booker has run behind that line better than he has. That's sad. Like, that's a guy you just pick up for a 1-year deal on a vet minimum, and he's running better and harder, getting more yards after contact than your second overall pick. I mean, that guy's physically gifted as shit. You look at him, but he doesn't play with the same physicality as Jonathan Taylor does. And okay, Jonathan Taylor's offensive line is fucking amazing. The coaching is better. So, like, example, if the Bills picked up Saquon on a 2-year deal for nothing, I would be happy. I would be like, okay, let's see what we can get out of him. But for the Giants, he needs to be the second overall pick and get like 1,800 all-purpose yards and 12 to 15 touchdowns to justify it. He's not going to do that. Not even close. Yeah, he got the damager. He got claimed by the Dolphins. Joe Namath might be the worst player in the hall. He's the first quarterback. He's the first quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards. If you look at the statistics of quarterbacks back then, it was pretty on par with what he did because the league was so different. It was a shot play league. It was, the contact rules were night and day different, on the quarterback, on the receivers, everything. He has the guarantee in New York, guarantee at the pool. So, I mean, Terry Bradshaw had some great Super Bowl games, a couple of them, but he had just as bad seasons, like throwing tons of interceptions. And I think he's a jerk. He's a douchebag. Like, the guy was the biggest cokehead imaginable, especially in the 80s. An arrogant prick too. What's up, Jake? It was nice to see Josh have a couple of second and five. Yeah, that was another thing, Jake. I was pissed that they didn't do that more last week. I'm like, well, they tried to do it on the 3rd and 3. Ford had the penalty on it. Just seemed like, man, that muff punt, that whole boondoggle with Zay McKenzie, man, that pissed McDermott off something sweet because Ian activated him, and that's like top kick returner in the league. And you put him down like that. That's sending a message. He sent the message. Yeah, he's again, like a lot of guys like that. You go look at some of those quarterbacks that played back then, like Norm Snead and Okay, you had some special ones like Tarkington, but he never won big. Unitas, he was more on the fringe, but like, okay, Daryl LaMonica, um, was it? There's a few other guys I can Heidel. I'm trying to think of guys like it's hard, but yeah, it just those are the stats. Like you see a lot of 20 plus interceptions. You don't see like you don't see 4,000-yard seasons. Joe Namath had the first one. I think it was 4,004. They were playing 14 games, 12 games. I think it was 12 and 14 games. The league was smaller, AFL, NFL, then they merged. So it's tough, and the rules were so different. The guy had a hell of from all the stuff that I read from people that like were scouts. The guy could throw, and he played his whole career with a torn ACL. So that's pretty insane. He literally played his whole career with a torn ACL. Yeah, he's such a homer. He's such like even Howie Long, such a fucking Raiders homer. Like, all right, I get it. Like, you can't take off your silver and black. You can't be objective, but you're on TV. You're on a national broadcast. Like, try it sometime, just for your health. It's like Troy. It's like Troy Aikman. He just can't help himself sometimes. He just can't help himself. By the way, is Terry Bradshaw old? Yeah, he still does the Fox. He still does the Fox stuff. Howie, like Jimmy's not on there no more, but I know it's Menifee and all those guys. What's up, Zach? Oh, that was brutal, dude. He just see. Think about that. Think about that. I could show you a hit that a quarterback named Eric Heupel got. He ran out of bounds and took a shot. There was no like it was all right. Quarterback was out of the pocket. He got hit on the run. But if that hit occurs today, holy shit, did the laundry come flying? Nope. He totally knocked him out. Totally. And it was just like, oh, that guy got his bell rung. He's going to have to clear out the cobwebs. And they just went on to the next play. I think he was out, obviously, but the backup goes in and just away they go. It was the Lions against Denver, too, in Denver. That wasn't like that. That shit happened like 1983. Yeah, there was a couple. There was one, I think, in the third quarter. It was on a third down too, Doug. And when he got his legs hit, I was like, oh Jesus Christ, don't go doing that, dude. Like I like when Allen can lower his shoulder and drive and hit people, but there was one where he just when he got flipped a little, I was like, oh, none of that, please, none of that. Yeah, Drew was good. Drew was good. Yeah, I was just so happy I didn't have to listen to that son of a bitch tonight. Oh God, he's insufferable. So insufferable. I cannot stand him. Yeah, he was good, Matt. Like I'll agree. Yeah, he was good. Howie Long, the Raiders really, but her. Yeah, there was a few. What's funny? Thurman Thomas tweeted me back once, and I tweeted to him. It was the 51-3 game, and I under I subtweeted Daryl, Cornelius, him, a few other guys that are on Twitter, but like Butch Roll is on Twitter. He was a bone catcher in the end zone. He wore number 87, tight end. There's a few other guys I tweeted. I Tasker, and lo and behold, Thurman Thomas tweets me back and says, "Watch the club to the head that Howie Long does to John Davis." He was a guard for the Bills. He wore number 67, 65. And sure enough, you see he ear holes the shit out of. He's like, yeah, he gave John a concussion, and we had to keep waking him up in the huddle. It's just crazy. Like he tweeted that back to me unsolicited, like 10 years ago. I was like, the fuck? I thought that was cool. Yeah, he tweeted me about if I could find some bills that were like, if I could pick 3 bills and make them between 23 and 25 again, he would be one of them. He would definitely be one of them because he could play so many positions. He's a really good pass rusher inside and outside. and he played great special teams, and he's just such a great Bill. He was a really great Bill. Like, I'll always see, I know he played for a lot of teams, but I'll always picture Lorenzo Alexander as a Bill, not a Redskin, not a Cardinal, not a Raider, a Bill. And I know he spent most of his time with the Redskins, but to me, he'll always be a Buffalo Bill. But I would definitely like take as a running back. I changed it. I would take Marshawn. I would take Marshawn over Fred, no doubt about it. Do you think the Bills run at him? Run and go. If you get Feliciano and Spencer Brown back, you better run at those motherfuckers. Run right at them. Breeze was good, but he was also saying New Orleans was the rudest place in the world to play. Saint fans were the best. What's he gonna say? What's he gonna say, dude? That's what he's gonna say. He still lives there. I mean, he has a charity there. I mean, I guess, it's hard. You got to pick and choose your spots. Yeah, you're right, Trevor. The only one. The only one. You hit that on the head hard as fuck. Damager wins the good old days when we got it from a concuss. Yeah, literally, like they were like, yeah, we had to keep like every other play because you see it. It's quick. It's on the broadcast, and you see him club him to the head. He's like, he gave John a concussion, and he played the rest of the game. Yeah, it's amazing that a player would extrapolate that. Like, I sent him the AFC Championship, right? For the Bills to go to the Super Bowl, for all those guys to go to their first Super Bowl. And that was the thought that he sent it back. He's like, watch the club to the head of John Howie's club to John Davis. And I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. I'm like, holy shit, Thurman Thomas tweeted me back. And I was looking, and I was like, and I went back and watched it, and I saw it. I was like, oh, he really did. Standard def to old grainy shit. Fucking Daryl Talley with the Spider-Man a ski suit on. It was fucking great. There's nothing like being a Bills fan. Nothing. I mean, other clubs have their lineage and their history and their great players, but the Bills are the closest thing. Maybe the Packers, because it's such a small town, like smaller than Buffalo. But the closest thing to like an English Premier League small, but like if you're Leeds, they have a big club, right? And they've been to the Champions League and they've won the league. But that whole town is about that team. It's kind of like Buffalo. It's like there's nothing like it. Like there's nothing like being a Bills fan. I could never imagine rooting for another team ever. And I live in an area with two teams. I would never, ever in a million years root for them. Yep, that's his claim to fame, Damager. That's it. I mean, who saw that? Remember, they had drafted Shaq Lawson, and it's like, oh, Lorenzo has the 12 and a half sacks. And, like, I think he went to the Pro Bowl that year, too. I think he went to the Pro Bowl. But you know what I liked about it? He's such a nice dude. Like, a nice dude. Like, he was easy to root for. Easy to root for. And he was a good player. Like, he was a good player. Like he was, it wasn't like, oh, he was one of the Bills. He was a good player. Like I picked him. I switched it to Marshawn. And who was the other guy I picked? Oh, Richie Incognito. I'd like to keep him a little bit of a head case, not so much, make him 23, 25 again. I'd put him right at left guard in a heartbeat because he's a nasty son of a bitch. And he doesn't care who knows it. Oh, not the rudest, the best, my bad. I mean, dude, I apologize if anybody's from New Orleans in here. I don't think there is. It's a shithole. Okay. It's a shithole. I'm sorry. It is. Oh, I would take Marshawn. I would take Marshawn, dude. It seems like Carlos got his life together, though, which is nice, but I'm taking Beastquake. I think McDermott and this management could handle his personality now. as opposed to when he came to Buffalo where there was a rudderless ship, you know? So, I mean, that's why he became the way he became with the media in Seattle because of what happened to him in Buffalo after he had, he hit the girl, the whole incident, he fucked up and the media just destroyed him, destroyed the team. And he's like, oh, I'm going to shut down. I'm just not going to talk to these pricks ever again in any kind of way because, I get it. The media is going to do what the media does, but you never know how it affects a dude. I'm only here because I won't get fined. That's what happens. Zach Brown was a good player. Yeah, he was a good player for 1 year, for the 1 year. I'll never forget. They made the biggest fucking mistake. I don't know if you guys had Snapchat, but the Bills used to have a player do Snapchat story every Wednesday. And they gave it to Zach Brown one time. And I'll never forget this. He's in the shower doing this number and laughing. The only thing is Richie Incognito is in the mirror, schlong hanging out. And he knows he's filming him too. And Zach Brown is laughing his ass off, and Richie is like drying his dick and drying his chest. And it's just like, did they realize? And they went back and deleted it. Like it was the same season. It was the same. Was it the 15 season? Yeah, the 15 season. Shady was fucking his girlfriend on Snapchat, and they made him delete all the day before training camp opened. I don't know if you guys remember that one. That was a great one. Let me read some of the comments here. Started out like he's the crazy story, Doug. Crazy story. Like for a guy to like do that and just transform himself and play everywhere. And I would, if the Bills could get that guy 23 to 25, he even replied that to me on Twitter about I would be 300 pounds if I was 23 to 25 years old. It's just like, that's okay, dude. I'll take you at that weight. They'll transform you. You'll transform yourself. Like I want your career arc the same. No problem. Yeah, he could have been special, Dave. He could have been so special. That kid was big. He could catch. Nah, he's done playing. He's coaching kids now. He's coaching kids. He has a little academy that he does. The league passes you by quick, man. The league passes you by quick. Yeah, it's terrible, Christian. Like it's a shithole. It's fucking dangerous too. It's a dangerous place. Crime there is crazy. He was just so small, Steve. Such a tenacious player. But just a little light in the ass for me. But damn, was he all cock and balls, man. Kyle. I like a little bit bigger of a player. Like that's just my personal preference. Like I just like for that position, I just like a little bit bigger of a player. Yeah. One practice, Jared McCargo with a first round pick was not as good as Kyle Williams. That's funny. I'll always remember that like story. Bill Kollar was the defensive line coach, and they said, "Oh, I just needed one practice, and I saw like this guy sucks, and this fifth rounder is better." Great, thanks. He was pissed. He's like, "Oh, I thought this kid was supposed to be good. He's shit. That kid's good," and the rest is history. Oh God, yeah, Rex. Everything Rex touched was a mess. Trust me. What past players would you like on the current Bills? Only a couple of players. Oh, that was it, Lorenzo. But I could only go back 10 years. So I picked Lorenzo, Richie Incognito, and Marshawn Lynch. Those are the three I picked. Accidental story. It happens, Dave. What are you going to do, bro? Dawkins is trash. You know what's crazy? He has a really high grade, Mafia man. Granderson got him the one time. I don't mind him taking the hold so Allen doesn't get blown up. But he was good in the run game. He held up okay. I mean, he had a few moments, so they did what they had to do. The right side played really well tonight. I thought Ford, I thought Morris, I thought Darrell Williams did good. So I felt that's a really bad comparison, Trevor. It's like I think last week kind of ended that. He had an okay game but he's never going to be Kyle Williams for the Bills. Not even close. It's just he's not the same. He's had too many serious knee injuries, and I just don't think he's the level of athlete, because Marshawn came back to the Bills last week. He came back to, was at the game with the Colts and all that. Fred Jackson was and I don't mind that. Just to never have OJ Simpson in that stadium ever again, please. And whatever box person let him go in there and tell them never to do that ever again to him. But they show the video of him swimming against Marshawn Lynch, and you see a close to 300-pound guy swimming against an NFL running back and beating him pretty easy. That's just crazy. And then apparently he's just a really good athlete. He's an amazing golfer. He was the best golfer on the Bills. He looks like a meatball, but the guy's just a great athlete. Oh, you're talking about old school guys, man. You're talking about dude. Then I would take Bruce Smith. What the hell? Oh yeah, he's not bad. I think you have to play him in spots, Trevor. He has to play him in spots. He shouldn't be allowed. I was disgusted. I was like, I don't want this guy here. He's a douchebag on Twitter. He's a black stain. I don't want him near the team. Don't ever let him. Yeah, but I remember when they wanted him cut. You know what it is? Everybody wants everybody cut. After the Colts, dude, I have a really close friend that I talked to about the Bills, and he was sending me messages from a guy that he talks to that's also a Bills fan. And this guy was like, McDermott should be fired. He's lost the team. The team clearly doesn't respond to him anymore. Fire him. And I was just like, yo, some of these people are fucking insane. Some of these people are insane. Insane. Dude, I'd replace him with Brian Mormon. I'd replace him with Ryan Lindell. I'd replace him with fucking Jabron Hamden. I don't give a shit. I would just get his name off of there. Yeah, that's what happened, Dave. You gotta fire McDermott because he lost the team and he's not strong. He basically he sat down 2 to 3 regulars tonight and their second round pick again. And I think, what I think they need to do with Boogie is they need to have him lose a little bit of weight and just focus on being an edge rusher because he's kind of in between right now. And they need to work on their pass rush moves a little more. I don't know if you guys see the inside the numbers thing that Chris Brown and Steve Tasker do. Again, AJ Epinesa has the second fastest get off in the league, according to those stats. He just needs to develop a little bit more of a pass rush repertoire. And, a club, a rip, just a swim, just a spin off a swim, something different. And that way, the guy can stay on the field more because if you can get a guy like a Max Crosby who has an insane get off, but he has a little bit more of a varied, arsenal in terms of his pass rush moves, then you have something. Let me read some of the comments, guys. You guys are doing great. Thank you so much for filling up the room. Yeah, he ran hard tonight, Jake. He had a few, like I said, it wasn't sexy on the stat sheet. You look at the stat sheet, it doesn't look sexy, but this is why the analytics stuff doesn't wash with sports, because these runs in the context of the game mattered a lot, especially those Singletary runs. 15 carries for 44 yards. Oh, disgusting. 2 point, but he didn't fumble, and he had he popped a few in the second half that extended drives. He got a 10-yarder. He got a 15-yarder. He got a couple of 5-yarders in there. Yeah, that guy is just he plays with such leverage and explosion because he's a sick, I know he had a little bit of the guy ran 4.6 at his size. Imagine a dude that big, and thick running that he can run like that. Yeah, it's tough, man. They're figuring things out, Steve. Everybody, they have you know what it is, and they'll have splashes like that. They'll have splashes like that. All rookies do. All rookies do. They all have lulls and dips. I've seen it. Shit, I remember it, man. Everybody thought he was washed out. I remember when Eric Molds, his first couple of the years with the Bills, it was like non-existent. I think the first his rookie year, he had the kick return for a touchdown against the Jets. He had a touchdown against the Seahawks in like garbage time. And in 97, it was nothing. And then in 98, he blew up. That first game he really blew up was the Carolina game. He really went off. But it took him 2.5 years to figure it out. Sometimes that happens. I'm not saying it'll take that long with these guys, but everybody's different. Steven, read some of the comments. I was wondering how many. Yeah, it was just a buck and change, but it was effective, right? It was effective. It was, it kept them balanced. It kept them on schedule for the most part. They stayed with it. And again, our two most physical linemen weren't on the field, so you've got to, take the good with the bad. And I'll take what they did tonight. Funny thing, Gruden. Oh, what a crock of shit. What that's just so, dude. I don't know. I mean, I'm no nobody, but I live here in Jersey City, and I've been around this area for off and on for over 35 years. Full time in the last, I'd say almost 20, right? The Giants still roll out Lawrence Taylor in that gold jacket. He still gets treated like a god, right? Just was it 6 years ago, he got caught trying to take a 16-year-old girl across state lines. She was like an underage prostitute. I could remember many times back in the day, back in the early 90s, late 80s, him around here buying drugs. He had a thing for Latina hookers, Latina specifically, Dominican or Puerto Rican, all the time. I remember he needed drugs one time. He gave a drug dealer a jersey, and he took it in exchange for an 8-ball. I don't know. The cops would just let him do whatever he wanted. He's a piece of shit and an absolute scumbag. Like, the guy is a nasty person. It's just a nasty individual. Like, he's not nice at all. Like, so I don't know why people kiss his ass and anything like that because of what he did on a football field however many years ago. Because he's an absolute piece of shit as a person. Mike Tyson, the same thing. His pitching coop is right over here on Tunnel Ave, right above the ringside. When he would run his shit around here, the same thing. Drugs, Latina hookers specifically, and just, he was a weirdo. Like, he would either be really, really cordial or he'd be like in sketch mode. Like he wanted to run through a wall. Like, super bipolar. Super. Sorry for my tangents. What was oh yeah, I think he got almost, I don't know if he got 200. I know he got a lot. Like, I know he had 2 long touchdowns. He had an 80-yard touchdown in that game. I remember that. Over Doug Evans. I remember that specifically. I have no idea. I've tweeted Kim Pagula to get that name off of there. I'm like, get his name off of there. You let people wear his number now. Thankfully, just anesthetize him from the record book. Get him out of there. It shouldn't be talking, but I just don't want his name associated with the Bills. I just don't. I just think it matters if you're a good person. I think being a good person matters. I think, like, being a good person matters. It's like Bill Conlon was a famous sports writer. He's a famous sports writer in Philadelphia. And they put him in the writer's wing of the Hall of Fame. But the fact is, the man molested his own niece. And the sports writers will sit there and try to keep certain guys out of the Baseball Hall of Fame for whatever reason, PEDs, politics, what have you. But they'll have that that piece of shit, a pedophile, in the writers' wing of the Hall of Fame because of a fat fuck scribbling down on a legal pad. No, thank you. I thought they were great, Steve. I thought they were solid when they played. Um, if he's not done, that's a hell of a fucking bitch slap wake up call. And if he's inactive again, and you have Star back and one of these two guys play in his stead, so be it. I just if you're not hungry and you don't want it and you're that size and you get pushed around like that, what good are you? You have a history with Eric Washington. You have a history with Brandon Beane, Sean McDermott. They brought you to the Bills for a decent piece of change. And if that's the kind of effort you're putting forward, like this is your last year with the team, that's what you're going to put on tape. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I give those other guys a burn over him. And I liked the signing originally. He was coming off 6.5 sacks in 19, but he hasn't done anything with the Bills at all. He's done nothing. I can't think of a play he's made. Maybe he's had a few run stops in the middle, but I can't think of a tip pass. I can't think of a stop me if he has. Yeah, that's disgusting, Midnight. Like, how is that guy allowed in the Baseball Hall of Fame? They'll keep guys out. They'll be all political about like, oh, I won't vote for this guy because this guy wasn't a unanimous vote, or they'll get all like, they're just arrogant about like the Baseball Hall of Fame voting is fucked up, like really fucked up. Like certain writers in certain cities won't vote for other players in cities because of it's stupid. There's this guys are Hall of Famers. It's like Kurt Schilling's a Hall of Famer. If you don't like his politics or not, it doesn't matter. The guy on the baseball field in the regular season and playoffs as a pitcher was fucking amazing. Period. He's one of the best postseason pitchers ever. He should be in the Hall of Fame. It's sad what Barry Bonds did to himself with the drugs and stuff, the PEDs. But even before then, he was a Hall of Fame baseball player. I don't know what your guys' feelings on that is. Before he played, before the PEDs, he was a 40-40, 40 doubles, 40 home runs, 40 steals, insane. Easily, Doug, easily. It's crazy what these people do. Not let these guys in. They deserve it. As players, I mean, Bonds was an asshole. I mean, don't get me wrong. Bonds was an asshole. He was another douchebag. Not a nice person, was very mean to people. I think being a good person matters, but on the field, he never committed any crimes or anything like that, but it was very obvious what he was doing. Look at his body. Yeah, those couple interceptions, Jake, were tough because I don't know what he was waiting for on the left because I don't know if you even saw Sanders right in front of his face flash. All he had to do was just right to him. Sanders just falls forward. It would have been a first down, first and goal. And he forced something to the left. I didn't see what it was because, Jordan hit his arm. Cam Jordan hit his arm. It got intercepted by Quan Alexander. And on the miscommunication with Diggs, it was an option route in and out. And Diggs went out, Allen threw in, and Roby was in. And it was like, oh, fuck. I mean, you can't have those type of screw-ups, man. You just can't. You got to be buttoned down, and that's just too many weeks that they've had these types of miscommunications, and it's costing them possessions. I think it's like he was more the bathroom bill with him. And, again, I'm not going to get into those discussions on here. The bathroom is whatever. It was the whole thing in South Carolina, whatever. When they moved the All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game, it started there. And it just became a maelstrom of shit. But yeah, it was a good game tonight. It was a needed win. You know what? That again, I don't like these Thursday games. You got to play. I think you have to play one a year. You cannot. You have to play one. You just play one, and that's okay. Whatever. It just kind of cheapens. At least the Bills played on the meaningful Thursday, because for me it was like a Thursday. Okay, it's the Lions. Like I remember the Lions ruining the Bills. One of my Thanksgivings back in '94. I'm sure a lot of you guys can remember that too. Dave Craig. Fucking perfect quarterback rating, second play on offense, flea flicker touchdown to Herman Moore, the Yanel Jourdain game. Most people refer to it as. He was just, Kelly ran for like a 23-yard touchdown in that game too, and he was not mobile. He was not known for running in touchdowns, and he ran one in. It was pretty sweet. But they lost. It was a rough game for the Bills. They got it close at one point, but then they let the Lions just slip away. But I think this was the first win against the Saints, and I want to say, shit, they hadn't beaten the Saints in a while. I have to go look, but I know they had lost the last 3 times. They lost in McDermott's first year as coach. They lost in 2000 and I want to say they lost in 13 with Thad Lewis. They lost in 09 at home. I know Pierre Thomas had a big game. That I think they won the Super Bowl that year too. The Saints did. Try to go down the list in my head. When would they have played before that? 05? Let me see, because they had played them, and I hadn't won against them. Yep, they lost against them. They lost them against them then in 2005. And I know they lost to them in 01 because Aaron Brooks he had a big game against them. In the first, they lost to the opener. That's why I remember that game. It was the opener of 2001, and Aaron Brooks, had a nice game. It was terrible. It was 6-24. So this is the first win they've had against the Saints, since the Rob Johnson game. Rob Johnson started that game in 98. That's it's been a while. I knew I had to go back through the annals, but I remember some of those games, and it's been a while. It's been that long. And there too, and the win was there. And it's not easy. It's not easy to win there. Definitely not easy. Because that dome is loud. We heard it. It's a fucking loud place. It's like a cavern. And it's old too, but they stayed playing in it and upkeeping it for a very long time. All those New Orleans losses they were bad losses, Matt. They were not. That's why they stick with me. That's why I'm like, damn, they haven't beaten New Orleans in a while. And then I thought about them, like going back in my head. And that's why I thought, like, remember this opponent, like I had brought it up to you, the box score, because the last time they played the Saints, granted, they don't have the same team on the field. Kamara didn't, they had a lot of guys not playing. But I'm sorry, like, I'm not going to send you flowers. They almost ran for 300 yards. So I'm like, that's a wake-up call. Like, yo, that's a good play caller. He could string something together. We saw what happened with Jacksonville, so don't apologize for the win at all. Overcame the dreadful blue pants. You know what? It's not the blue on blue damager. It's the white on blue I don't like. I don't mind the blue on blue for some reason. I can live with it. I prefer blue on white or all white everything. That's what I like. I'm a purist. That's what I like. I don't like the white on blue. I don't like it. The red on red, the blue, again, if I had to tier them, my favorite, I like the all white everything and the blue on white, 1A, 1B. The last is the blue, white on blue. If I had to pick a third, it would be the blue on blue. I don't know what you guys think of the red on red. Oh God, those are fucking the Donahoe logo was fucking bad. The gray buffalo that looks like a train with steam coming out of it, a double-decker bus. Oh God, terrible. The blueberry midnight uniforms with the red stripe across the chest and the tit, with the red patch, the red down the. Oh, what a hot mess those things were. The white jerseys with, they're terrible. I hate those. I hate those midnight. Oh God. White on blue, I just can't stand. I just don't like it. Yeah, both Thanksgiving games. I kind of thought about that. I'm like, they wore blue on blue in Dallas because Dallas always wants to wear its home. The only team that'll make them wear their home and away will be the Redskins. The Redskins will do the shit on purpose. The Redskins will make them wear their blue jerseys. They don't want to wear them. They're gonna do it next year, Matt. I don't know if it'll be full time, but they're doing it next year. The creamsicles are coming back for Tampa Bay. They're going to get to do those. They're basically the helmet rules are going to change. I know Atlanta's going to get their red. The Patriots can wear the white Minuteman again. Um, I don't know if the Jets will do a Titans or a white their white logo, but like the Browns, their original helmet is white. Like they have a white helmet. Like the original Browns helmet from the 50s is white. And then they changed to that like orange. I think the Broncos should go back to their orange crushes. Like I think they should have the blue Bronco with the D. That was a nice one. Oh, the yeah, the Minuteman taking his shit hiking the bowl. Everybody likes that one. That's one of the most popular throwbacks there is. And the Oilers, the baby blue Oilers. Like they could replace that with the Texans or what Tennessee wears because those uniforms are hideous. Every expansion team got a shit uniform. If you had to tier them, Carolina probably has the nicest one, but the rest are trash. Ever notice how when we yeah, every bad loss, Steve, is the white on blue. That's why I don't like it. I just don't like that combination at all. Like the Houston playoff game, the damn AFC Championship against the Chiefs, the game in Jacksonville. I don't like those uniforms. I just don't like them. There's been nothing about them that I like. Like I see it, and I'm just like, uh, uh. Would you like? I'll ask you guys this: if they did a blackout, would you like it or no? Like all black, maybe red or blue socks, or even black socks, and the white helmet. Well, we look good when you lose. Tennessee. Oh, yeah. Just keep with the bad memories. So you'd like a blackout? Like I always thought like they should do one like that. Like I don't know. Like do like something, like do a blackout. Like something like sometimes high schools and colleges do that theme like a blackout or a whiteout. Like I would think that would be the. I think it would look great with the red or the white helmet. Like I think it would look phenomenal. Like if you had, especially if you trimmed out the numbers with a red or a blue, like I think it would be beautiful. That's just my opinion. And in Buffalo too, especially if it's cold, it's more advantageous to wear black. So I think it would look really really sexy. Like because of the the logo, the white helmet on I think it would look amazing. I'll try to get it to the Pagulas. I'll see because they're gonna change the helmet rule next year. That's actually going to change. I think I don't know who's getting new uniforms. I know the Eagles had looked into it because you have to apply for TV testing, and they do the TV testing like they mostly do it in Florida, in Tampa Bay. I don't know why they do it there because of the sun and shit and the weather. And then they'll do one indoors too because they do that for like a year. I don't ask me why because all the high def and 4K and all these cameras, they'll TV test and they'll be like, okay, it looks good. It doesn't do this. It doesn't do that. So that's their process for changing a uniform now. Well, it has been for like ever since they became consistent with the contracts, like the Reebok and then the Nike one that they have now. The Jets played and they had the color rusher. Yeah, it was what happened though, Jake? I don't know if you remember, everybody went nuts. The colorblind people couldn't tell the colorblind people like on TV couldn't tell who was who. The team looked the same to them because of the like on like colors. They couldn't see who was who. Like I remember that because that shit. Now that I'm talking about this, the Bills and Jets game was the first Color Rush game. They'll always have that piece of trivia. That was the first Color Rush game. Did you see YouTube? I don't know if you guys saw YouTube disabled dislikes. I left them up because I don't get butthurt if somebody dislikes the stream. So I left it up. Like, I'm not gonna, what am I gonna go have a safe space for because somebody disliked my video? Like, seriously, that's an option now. You could turn off your dislikes. Your likes will stay, but you can turn off your dislikes. Wow. I don't know. The red on red's not bad. I wish they did a red on white. If they wanted to do a red on white, I'd be totally fine with it. If they want to do red on white. But I would love for them to do a blackout of just at least once. Because Jake, I know the Jets do a black. They do the stealth black. But I don't know what they would, the Bills, I would like for them to do something like that. Only way we wear red on red again is when they roll out the red helmets. Oh, that I don't know. I think they would just do the classic because I think they would do the whole throwback uniform with the red helmets. You'd see the 90s Bills uniform with the red helmets. No, it'd be great, Victor. I think it would be beautiful if they did the red jersey, the red Color Rush jersey with white pants would be phenomenal, but it has to be red socks. Can't be blue socks. That was the one bad thing about the 90s Bills uniform. It was a blue jersey, but they had red socks. So it always looked, but they had a red helmet. If it would have been blue socks, it would have been fine, but I don't know. The Red Sox always made it look weird. Do you guys remember remember Caveman Mike, 1 year Bills hit from Tampa Bay, the Syracuse wide receiver? He wore red socks in a game and he ended up getting fined and shit like that. And then they inactivated him. I remember he in 2014, I want to say, yeah, he had the Red Sox and with Marone, and he got fined. Yeah, that black isn't really part of their history. I mean, I get it. Like if a certain color isn't a part of your history, I'm like, okay, black is not in the Bills' color history. So I'm like, you'd have to add it. Do you really want to add it, or do you just want to do it as like a blackout game? For me, that's where the purist gets like, oh my god, no, don't do that. The baby blue or the royal blue for the Bills, royal blue. Red on white. Colors of Beasley and Sanders. For me, if you go back to the original Bills colors, fucking Ralph Wilson basically had them in Lions uniforms. They look exactly like Lions uniforms. The same jersey, the same helmet, everything. Number on the helmet. And then Lou Saban came and said, "Nah, we got to have our own identity." He literally did the standing buffalo. Lou Saban's the reason we have that standing buffalo and our colors. And of course, Ralph had a grudge against him and didn't put him on he didn't. The Pagulas did, and he was dead. But certain guys are up there. Yes, the Jets do. It's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible. They change their uniform all the time. It's weird. They've changed their uniform so much. It's like the Browns. They've changed their uniform a lot. I think that they went back to their original look now, which is a lot better than the ones that they had. The thing that Atlanta did was disgusting. Disgusting. See, I like this. We can talk about a bunch of shit. We don't necessarily just got to talk about the game. It's just like a word salad of everything's football. But, that's how good they got us feeling. Instead of, bitching about a game like the Colts, it's so good to, come and relax with a game like that where they could have scored, easily in the 40s. And that's the frustrating part about this team is that offensively in particular, offensively definitely they just haven't like they've had good games, but they've had not had a game where it was just like they were fucking on from whistle to whistle, they were on. Everything was firing on all cylinders. Like they were just hitting, hopefully they get some guys back, Victor, but maybe they lost Trey tonight. I'm going to just lean towards they probably did because, I don't want to get my hopes up and say that they dodged a bullet, but, who knows? Oh, man, you don't have a long weekend? That sucks, man. I don't think he's all right, dude. I think it might. I hope it's not long term, but it looked when you get a non-contact and you see the knee shift like that. I just think that I don't know. Then they would be like the damager. They would be like the they when did they go to the red helmet? They went to the red helmet in 84 or 85. I think 84 they went to the red helmet. I think their last year in the white helmet was 83 till 2011 when they brought it back. So I'm trying to think, but yeah, it pretty much looked like the one, and then the buffalo was a little smaller. The face mask, I remember it was blue once, and then they scrapped it, and then they went to gray, and then they had a white. It was all crazy. Now he's Victor. He's on the he's on the Jets team now. He's on the Jets. They'd be if they bring him in, if they bring somebody in, it'll be a veteran. It won't be a rookie. I don't know if they ever used it in a regular season. I know I saw Kelly practice in white on blue once, white jerseys, blue pants, but he never wore them in a game. I think they wore them in a preseason game, but they never wore it in a regular season game ever. What the Falcons did is disgusting. Like their uniforms are terrible, and their throwbacks are nice. Like their 90s Falcons are nice. Even the red ones that they have from the 80s are nice. The Steve Bartkowski ones are nice. This stuff, if I was Arthur Blank, I would have said, take them fuckers back. I would have told Nike, there's no way you're going to bastardize my brand like that. I ain't no way. Who approved of that shit? Who thought that was nice? Like who? Like it's like a high school, like Atlanta across the jersey. It's like, or ATL. People in Atlanta don't call it ATL no more. They used to say that back in the 90s. Back when MC Hammer and shit lived over there. He used to go to the Falcons games and stuff. Let me read some of the comments, guys. Nah, Steve, he's on their 53. He's on Wild Goose is on, he's on the Jets 53. And did they release him? Did they sign him and release him? I think they signed him to stay. He's on their 53. Let me read some of the comments, guys. But they have a two-tone. It's ugly. It's like when you go down, the jersey turns like red. It's like it goes black to red. It's disgusting. My guess is a sprained knee. I've seen multiple guys in real life tear an ACL or MCL. You're not walking off the field right away. Yeah, I mean, if it's a sprained MCL, like I've seen the non-contact, dude. I remember fucking Darrelle Revis jumping over a pile. Nobody touched him, right? And he landed, he got up, and torn ACL. So, I mean, I hope it's not. I hope it's an MCL sprain. And, we're looking at, 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, I can live with that. I didn't see him walk off the field, but Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I didn't hear the cart come out. He just looked really, really pissed and frustrated. But I know there's not an MRI machine in where New Orleans is. There's not an MRI machine, so that's why they were like, "We're not going to put you back out there because there's instability in your knee, and we don't know if it's torn or if it's a sprain. We don't know yet." So I'm hoping that we dodged a bullet. Trust me, I'm holding out hope. But I've always like not pragmatic, but I just you know if you got to deal with it, nobody's gonna cry for the Bills, man. I really missed her. They're coming back midnight. We just gotta wait. Let's just enjoy the season. Hopefully, they win a Super Bowl in white helmets. I don't give a fuck if they wear shit brown helmets, but and win a Super Bowl. But nah, I love the Bills logo. I love the crest. I love this. I really never want them to change this logo. Like I know people have said that they want the logo to be up. I don't know what you would do to it. Maybe put a horn or something or a tweak in that nature, but I just love the logo. Like I would never want them to change it. Yeah, it'll leak, Victor. You know how it is. It'll fucking one of the guys will get a hold of it, the Schefters or the Rappaports or Glazers, and if it's bad, we'll know. We'll know if they dodged a bullet too. I think it's a combination. If they said, "Look, you can't go back in and play. Your knee's unstable. We don't know. We can't look at it, but we know it's unstable. You're going to go back out on turf. The game is, I think we're going to win this game. There's no need to put you in harm's way. If it's a situation like that, wow, we're fucking lucky. Like that's. I hope that's the case, guys. Trust me, I hope that's the case. But I've seen non-contact ACLs where a guy went off the field and shit. I remember Richard Sherman. He walked off with a torn Achilles in Arizona, and you have no dorsiflexion with walk off. Granted, it was kind of a fucked up hobble, but he still did it. But yeah, I'm hoping it's okay. I'm hoping. Like, trust me. And but like I was saying before, I think that's the frustrating part about the team, and we all know this. I mean, we said it week one. We said it in the preceding weeks when they put up 35 and 40 and then 40 again. It's just this team has not hit on all. It hasn't had that clean offensive game, like that crisp, clean, pristinely executed offensive game. It hasn't, and if it can put a few of those together in the next few weeks, that'll be huge because they're going to need that. They're going to need it big time. And our defense can stop people, when it's got all its pieces and it's playing, the right way. I mean, even if they have to play the Colts again, you get Starr back, you have Edmonds, you know where you fucked up. I look at it in the same way as when the Bills played the Ravens last year in the playoffs. Everybody thought they were going to run all over the Bills, and the Bills held them down very, very well. After that first drive, it was the Bills put the clamps on. They couldn't do a damn thing. So I think the Bills they've been proven they learn from their mistakes pretty well. Like they learn from an opponent. Like they play an opponent, they learn. It's like, okay, we did this, and this tendency breaker. This was a constant. This is something that they use they do well with that stuff. But again, I'm hoping that the injury's okay. But we have not seen that often. I mean, like tonight, they put up 31 points. Nobody here in this room could say that was a clean, pristine offensive performance. They had a touchdown opportunity before the half to double dip. They missed on that completely. They had another opportunity where they were driving. They were on the other side of them. They were getting close to they were at the 50 and are near the 50, and they threw a pick. And that could have been a field goal. That could have been a touchdown. You just can't keep giving possessions away like that. Look what happened against the Colts. They can bite you in the ass, and you can get blown out quick against a good team. I didn't see him walk off. Did they show it? I didn't even see him get a chance to walk off. But again, like there's always people like that, they're just like, oh, this, that, is it I mean, I'm no what do you call that? Bone muscle joint um type of doctor, but that's a tough one. Is this the play he's talking about? Okay. I'm not one to bash the officials, but this is terrible. Do this to Brady or Rodgers 10 months. Oh, I see it. I see it. Yeah, number 70 went low, kind of like dived at his knees, and Allen is just basically like on his knees, being like, "Yo, he just dove at my knees." It was on the screen where, remember the screen where it looked like if he would have got the ball to Motor, he had a couple of guys out in front of him, but Cam Jordan was kind of in his line of sight. Number 70 for the Saints dove right out. That's the one that apparently the McDermott was pissed about. But I saw a hit in the head. Yeah, me, Thomas. It's the first thing I walked in this room with. The first set I said is like, I'm just glad we got that nasty taste out of our mouth like that. Like just got to fuck like that. It's been a long 4 days, man. It's been a long 4 days. That was the first time he played in that dome since college, too. And I know him and Trey's brother, him and Mark. That's another reason they put Marquez Stevenson on the field tonight. He's from Louisiana. All his family, like he had a lot of family there. He's friends with Trey White's brother, so they like grew up in the same neighborhood. And another thing too, if you follow him on Instagram, and if you're good at reading tea leaves, I knew lock, stock, and barrel. The second McDermott, Mr. Button Down CEO, close to the vest, refers to a rookie by his nickname. I'm like, okay, that kid is playing. Like he didn't have to say that. He could have said, we're gonna activate Marquez Stevens. No, Speedy. We're gonna get Speedy out there. Okay, that kid's playing. He called him his nickname. A lot of these guys repost Shady's touchdown, maybe out of respect. So, what did you guys think of the inactives tonight? Or did you think it was a wow, sending a message, letting everybody know you better have your shit buttoned down? You better practice well. You better have your attention to detail on tight. Otherwise, you're not going to be on the field. You fuck up during a game, make some egregious error, it's going to cost you the next game. I mean, a name invoked to me over the week, this last week, was Belichick being like, not in the same way, but that bit of ruthlessness that like, hey, you might have won X amount of games for me, but you did this thing in this game and this thing in this game. It was the last game, so that's what matters. You're not going to play. Like Jonas Gray, for example. Jonas Gray ran for the 200-yard game, and that was it for his Patriots career. That was it. He was done. I think he was late for a meeting like that following week, and they basically just shut him down. Didn't play. Well, it was Moss. It was McKenzie. It was Butler. Basham's been on and off the inactive list, so it's hard to say him. Hart, they just signed for emergency break class in case of emergency. So who else was on that list? Hamlin was on the list for the first. DeMar Hamlin was on the list for the first time. Cam Lewis wasn't a shock. So yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like those are the biggest ones to me. Our most physical running back on paper and somewhat, put out there, said, nope, you're going to sit down. And are one of the top kick returners in the league. I mean, that's a pretty big, That's a pretty big sit. It's like, hey, and a gadget player on offense too. I think fans were wanting them to see more on offense and less on kicks, but yeah, I wanted to see Stevenson get some of those looks on offense, but they're really working in the tight ends a lot. Yeah, I think he had a good game today, Jake. I just don't think that he's long for the Bills because I think they're going to redo that whole interior, that offensive line. Let me read some of the comments, guys. It wasn't a surprise to me too. Midnight. It just he looks like he's been like I said it in the last stream. He looks like he's been running in quicksand. He looks like he's been running in quicksand. Like he's not explosive. He's not, breaking tackles. First guy was getting him down way easy. Like in the second half of that Miami game, he ran hard, he ran physical, he bounced off tackles, he ran through tackles, and just, that was the last time he really flashed. I mean, he flashed a little bit in the Chiefs game, in the screen game. He had a couple of okay runs, but he did most of his damage, catching passes and running, for some first downs. But outside of that, as a runner, he hadn't really done much. I read some of the comments, guys. Ford is a reserve player who's either moved maybe for like a conditional draft pick, or he's I thought he had a good game tonight. Like I didn't notice him. He didn't get destroyed. He didn't get beat. He held up well, and that's all you really ask. That's all you really ask is hold up, drive. When you get a chance to play downhill. Don't get blown up. And I thought for the most part he did that tonight. And the Saints have a really good run defense. I think they have I think they had the best run defense in the league, if I'm not mistaken. So the Bills did pretty well against them tonight. They did okay. They stuck with it, and they just never went away from it. The second half, they had some okay runs that extended some drives for them, got first down. So if that's all you need, that's what you need. Yeah, that was a big one for me midnight. That was a woof. Well, that kickoff was that it was the kickoff where you handed a team, you're getting a chance to maybe go into the locker room instead of down 17-7. Even if you're down 17-7, okay, it's still a 2-score game. Let's just say you flip the field there and you go down 17-10. You're a 1-score. You're getting the ball to start the half. That kick, you're down 24-7, and it's just the game is dead. It's almost dead at that point. The way it was being played, it was demoralizing. And so I think it was an error. McDermott he obviously stewed on it because he announced that this guy was going to be brought back on the roster the very next day. Like we're going to designate him for return. And they put him on the roster today. So they had to know what they were doing on Monday. They just didn't do that shit. It's something that they finally got the opportunity to do it, and they did it. They're like, okay, we're doing it now. Yep, the most tight ends. He broke it. He broke Pete Metzlar's record tonight. He could have had 8. And the way it's looking now with 6 more games, he has a chance to break Bill Brooks' record. Bill Brooks has and Shady's right there. Shady has 7, so him and Shady are tied for the team lead. And Josh has a chance. He should. He'll be he'll get over 30 touchdowns easily. I think he's going to get over 35 touchdowns again this year. So those will be in his pocket. He'll probably have another 4,000 plus yard season, but we'll see, man. But it's good to see a young Bills tight end starting to, everybody wanted to throw him. For me, I was like, I don't want to be throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Everything I hear about this kid, he wants it. He works hard. It's just a consistency thing with him. And he's played so few games at tight end. And I think he's just starting to scratch the surface. I really, really do. It's like Travis Kelce. Look at his career arc. He didn't start figuring out till his third year. If you look at it, it took him a few, and then he blew up. I'm not saying he's going to be Travis Kelce, but just it's a hard position to develop at because you have to be good at blocking. You have to basically know the route combinations of wide receiver, and then know what the running backs are doing as well as the offensive line. It's a hard position. It's not an easy position at all. And Knox does change the offense. He's huge in the red zone. Josh clearly looks for him in the red zone. And remember last year in the red zone, he didn't catch a lot of passes in the field, but not Tyler Croft had like 4 touchdowns in the red zone for us. Lee Smith had like 3 touchdowns in the red zone for us last year. So Josh looks for the tight end in the red zone. He's clearly looking for those bigger guys in the red zone. And he's a former quarterback too. He's a former quarterback. And another thing too, he's got that I want to get better. I haven't figured it out. I only played tight end for 2 years in college, and I've been doing it for 2.5, 3 seasons in the pros. He's missed time with injuries and different things in each of the seasons. So, the sky is the limit for him. It really is. And we still have, and you know what? You could see Cole Beasley getting a little healthier too tonight. You saw some in and out explosiveness, some of those option routes. You saw that quick change of direction. And when you have a rib, man, I've had ribs before. And your ability it is completely compromised. So this 10, 12 days is going to be excellent for him. Excellent. And excellent for our legs. These guys need to get their legs back. They really, really do. He didn't catch a touchdown in college. He didn't catch a touchdown in college, Dave. He caught a couple of passes. And remember who he was on offense with. I don't know if he was there with Laquan Treadwell, but Metcalf, DK Metcalf, and AJ Brown were his and the quarterback was Chad Kelly too. Think about that. Talk about coming full circle. Night. He might be. He'd be the first Bills tight end to ever make a Pro Bowl. He'd be the first. I don't know. I don't think Metzlar's never made a Pro Bowl. McKellar definitely didn't. Did Seymour make a Pro Bowl back in the 60s? He might have. Maybe there was some guys in the 70s, but I'm not sure which. They had a couple of guys because the statistical, prowess back then. I know Mickey Schuler for the Jets made some Pro Bowls, but I don't think a Bills tight end has made a Pro Bowl. I wonder why they do the running back room. It's definitely going to be they're going to mix that. I mean, look what they've done now. I mean, and carrying 5 running backs to me was always a luxury, especially on the roster, let alone into a game. So for me, it's like you got it 4 running backs to me because Jones plays so much on special teams, primarily a special teams player. I mean, you have to carry 4 into a game. And I think you're going to see them do. I'm not saying they're going to bring in a veteran, but they could bring in another veteran. But they're definitely going to try to do something at running back. You could just tell. You could just kind of tell. It's like the interior offensive line. You kind of know where this team is going in certain positions now. Like the interior defensive line. They're gonna add people there. Guys like long term. For the short term, they're fine. There's no free agency. There's no draft tomorrow. So this is the team you have. But when it comes time to do that to the team, you kind of know the direction they're going to lean. Which is nice when you have a good roster. Your needs are illuminated a lot more clear as if you have a bad roster and there's needs everywhere. Like we watched, if you guys watched the Lions today, that team needs personnel all over the field. sad to say they might even need a new coach after 1 year. My God. I try to root for Dan Campbell, and I like that type of, I do like that type of image, that type of bravado, that type of strength from the head coach, that type of, former player, he looks the part. I like that. But that game management and some of the shit at the end of that game was like, dude, what is this? Like XFL ran by Vince McMahon, like type shit? That was just disgusting. Yeah, trust me, I'm all for Moss figuring it out. But I think when you look at it, I also looked at the guys that he deactivated. Moss is a young guy. What's up, Polish? How you doing, bro? Moss is a young guy. He's got a podcast. He's got a clothing line. The guy hasn't even had a 100-yard game in the NFL. And for me, it's just like, dude, where are your priorities? You're an NFL running back, barely in your second season. And you're doing this, and this. But, this is the main thing. Like, the main thing is obviously, I think those other things might be a distraction. And a game and a message like that is like, yo, you need to, like, those other things, let them become a great player first. And those other things will just take care of themselves. Like Jordan Poyer, right? He does his little clothing line. He drops these little exclusive releases and stuff and shit. People want to buy his hoodies and his shirts and stuff after, the way he plays and the way he performs and the years he's put in with the Bills and his story and all that stuff. People want to, support a guy like that fiscally. But if you're just a rookie, barely a rookie, and you've never really done anything in the league, like, dude, you just look like you have no self-awareness. You're clueless, Like Isaiah McKenzie. Now he's doing this, like he does this, he does a podcast where he talks to Tyler Dunn live on stage somewhere in Buffalo. I don't know if it's at a restaurant somewhere. And Tyler's a really, really great guy. He's a nice guy. But if you look at who he talks to, and you look at the timeline and when he covered the team, and you see how easy it is for him to get information from guys like Jim Monis, who was a former Bills director of pro personnel, and their former GM, Doug Whaley, and they're just singing to him on a podcast. You don't think they were doing the same to him to air their grievances behind, so they could make public their issues with Rex Ryan or the Pagulas or this or that? And then they see Isaiah talking to him every week. And it's like, oh, he's going to sing to him behind the scenes, maybe some grievance or some bullshit. We don't want that because, the Bills now, they're very buttoned up, tight, close to the vest, no leaks, no bullshit, no nothing. So that was another thing that came into my head is like, maybe they saw them doing these podcasts and these other things, and they were just like, nah, these guys don't have their heads on right. They're too busy, talking to this guy, talking to that guy. It sucks too, because I think they're both good players. I think they could both be really good players, and hopefully this kind of like snaps them too. Like, hey, we need to focus a little more. Yeah, Lions have been competitive in all their games. It just, down the stretch though today, man, it's just midnight. Those mistakes, like the timeout and then trying to call back-to-back timeouts, getting penalized 5 yards, and that easy first down that they gave up on that little inside curl. It's like, it's so obvious. The guy was off 10 yards. All the guy had to do was run 5 yards and turn around. The DB didn't even close on him. The ball was already in his hand. It was so bad, dude. Aaron Glenn's losing his mind. It's just like, and you watch the way they lose games. It's like, for example, you know how we say every team could have had a bad L. You got to remember, the Ravens needed to convert a 4th and 19, and then Tucker had to hit like a 66-yard field goal to beat the Lions. They had Lamar Jackson at quarterback. It wasn't Huntley. So the Ravens could have that L. They could be the Lions only. They could have been the Lions only W. They weren't. But look at what they had to do and overcome, And the Ravens defense this year is awful, awful. read some of the comments, guys. Damager, it's all about unfocused bug lost. Yeah, and you could just tell, unfocused, like kind of sitting around waiting for something to happen as opposed to making something happen. Just you got to have everybody pulling in the same direction. Imagine losing on a 66-yard field goal because it bounced off the. Yeah, man, that must suck, dude. That really must suck. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if they need they need a lot. They have nothing. No pass rusher. They're secondary. It's just I know Hawkinson got hurt. They're just in a rough spot, man. Their ownership is they're just rough. I feel bad for them. I really do. They had a lot of fans there, and I know it's not far from Chicago. They had a decent amount of fans there too, but it's just tough sledding for them, man. It would be hard to be a fan of them. Think about the best players in their history just handed their jersey back with years probably still left on their careers. They just said, two of the greatest players to ever play their position, Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, took the Lions jersey and said, "Here, we don't want it, the Hawaii blue, the Honolulu blue," and said, "Here, I don't want to wear this no more. Take it. I don't want the money on the contract either. I'd rather just walk away." That's rough. They don't have a quarterback. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know if Goff had a few nice throws in the game. I think wasn't it the touchdown he got to Reynolds? I think it was a touchdown to Reynolds early, and then he threw a nice touchdown to Hawkinson. But outside of that, I mean, I like their running backs. I think they have a few nice tackles. I like Sewell. Looks like a really good player. Decker's not a bad tackle. I like Jonah Jackson. I think he's a really good guard. I would take him on the Bills. Shit, I would take DeAndre Swift. Jamal Lewis runs hard. It's just I don't know. It's just something's missing there. It's really, really, it's obviously Goff's not the guy long term, but defensively they're probably going to draft a kid from Oregon, Thibodeau. So, and don't worry, I'm already on that shit like a cheap, for a John. So appreciate you. Yeah, they have a really good tight. Hawkinson's a good tight end. He's really ever since he let his hair grow, he's kind of like, that's a key for the tight end. Like Dawson Knox, just let your hair go crazy and you get good. Let me read some of the comments, guys. Christian Buffalo Plus said Isaiah and Moss. Yeah, they were out. He put that on his Instagram. That was on his Instagram. I think the other player that was with them, I think it might have been Hamlin. But he was an interim head coach. So he was an interim head coach at one point. So he's not a total noob. And he's been in the league. He's been under Sean Payton. He was in Miami. So he's, I'm rooting for the guy. Trust me. Like I like that type of head coach. Like I like that guy who cares. He got up and ball. I don't care about like him crying for like he cares. They gave the Rams all they could handle. I was really rooting for them to win that game too. Really rooting for them to win that game. So I hope they can get it together because they're they've never really been truly good. They've been okay. They've never truly been good. It would be cool if they were good. It'd be different as opposed to the Packers or fucking Cowboys. It's just like, I've always said this. I sound like a broken record when I say this. I hate when people in the national talking head brigade will say it's a better league when the Raiders are good. It's a better league when the Cowboys are. Why? Who said? I think it's a better league when the Cowboys are getting the shit kicked out of them by everybody. How about that? I think it's a better league. I think it's a better league when I get to look at Jerry Jones miserable in his fucking box. How about that? I think it's a better league then. That's my opinion. Maybe it's not everybody else's, but that's the thing. It's an opinion. And for me personally, I enjoy seeing Jerry Jones miserable in his box, pouting like a child. I think a lot of you guys probably agree. And I have to say this. Mark Davis is the ugliest man on the planet. I don't think there's an uglier man than Mark Davis. He's it's horrible that I share a name with this person because for a person to have as much money as he has, and the only way he could be married is with that what he has in his pocket. He is truly the most hideous individual I've ever laid eyes on. Like for somebody, and I don't mean to say this cruelly because I know there's people that are unfortunately born with things and stuff like that. He's just he's vile looking. Like he doesn't look like it. I mean, the haircut, just he's repulsive. Like imagine like meeting that guy. And like he's the owner of the Raiders, so you sort of have to kind of be nice to him. But I kind of wouldn't want to look at him, like talking to him kind of the way like if you ever saw the movie The Bronx Tale, how Colangelo didn't want to look at Coffee Cake because his face had all those pup marks and shit. He's like he was tough to look at and he wouldn't look at Coffee Cake, and then they didn't want him to look at him when he rolled um this guy's dice because he was bad luck. You guys, if you guys remember that, that's why I just could not look at the guy. He's ugly as hell. And they kept show like they showed him a few times because it was the Raiders against the Cowboys, and I'm like, he is repulsive. Like they only showed him like twice. I'm like, he's so ugly they can't put him on TV. And the Joneses are hideous too. They're like tanned up. All their women are like wrestling in college and injected and have tit implants and they're like 50 plus 60 still going to like tanning beds and shit, getting spray tans before the game. And then they're showing Mark Davis and I'm like, they are just fucking disgusting. Like these are people that just have too much money and they just look bad. I have no clue. Like, dude, if he needs me to break out the buzzers and give him something better, I can. Like, I'd be like, you have to put away the bowl. I just, just keep your head turned. I really don't want to look at you. We could, put the mask on for safety. I don't know. I just know his father looked like a human version. If you could make the Simpsons characters real people, Al Davis was Mr. Burns. Lock, stock, and fucking barrel. That man was the human embodiment of Mr. Burns. Period. No doubt about it. Was he there? Was Goodell there? I can't stand him. He's such a fucking empty. He is he's the embodiment of the just ugh, like just emotionless, dry, stale, like like what a poor face for your league to have a guy like him. Just such a he's emotionless, shows nothing, absolutely empty. He's just an empty vessel. You know what I mean? Like if you see that guy and hear him talk, he just has nothing about him. Like to even hear his name, Roger Goodell, it's just wet mop. That's what I think. It's not even like a sexy bitch with a bad attitude. You can kind of get around it, and just like, well, she's hot. I can throw one down there. It's like that guy is like, ugh. Like nothing redeeming whatsoever. Not a good personality, not charismatic, and a little bit abrasive. Nothing. Just completely stale and dry. 2 pieces of day old bread and water. If you could make that a meal. If it wasn't for Ralph Wilson and the Bills, yeah, he loaned them the money, the $10,000. And if you really look into the history of the Raiders, a lot of the money Al Davis got to sustain them in those years, those crazy years, was through like the mafia and shit. Because Oakland is a notorious port city, and if you know anything about port cities, they're always run by organized crime. Always, because if you control the ports, you control the flow of goods. meaning that you could steal stuff that comes in that hasn't been scanned through, to market yet. It's kind of there and manifest, but it kind of isn't. It's weird how it works. But yeah, that's mobs are notorious for port cities, much like New Orleans. Much like New Orleans. And Newark here, it's the same thing. Always remembered being in a preseason game during the Hall of and the Raiders were playing that year. Al Davis was still alive. Oh, and so you saw this man close, Doug. What did you think? Like, you're still here to tell the tale. It does. He looks like the bull. Like, he puts a bull in and just they do the clip and that's it. Like, they'll do the snip across and that's it. That's what he does. Like, did you guys ever see that movie with it's an older movie and he makes this guy God, if I could find the name of the movie, it's a little late, but it's funny how he makes him get this like military bowl cut, and he was so pissed about it. Leonardo DiCaprio, and God, he's in every mafia movie ever. He's annoying as hell. Not annoying, but he's been in all the Robert De Niro. I forget the something son or something life or whatever. I remember that movie pretty well. Yeah, Al Davis was he was in a wheelchair, huh? Was his son with him? He looked like death warmed over. Yeah, he looked really bad. You know who looked bad today? Did you guys notice on the sideline? Sean Payton did not look good. He did not look good. He looked pale. His eyes looked blood. He just did not look well. His color was off. He looked like a little he just did not look good. Do you see, like, here's another guy. His daughter is in media now. His daughter is doing media now. She does something for their website, and I saw she did something for some paper in New Orleans or something like that. It's like that's just kind of how it is. Like, she has the last name. I gotta see what movie this is because it's driving me nuts. Old IMBD, here I come. God, he's that old now. Jesus Christ. It was in the 90s. I just remember he made him get that corny classic military crew cut. This Boy's Life, Dwight. I knew it. And that's the kind of haircut he has. It's just like that similar. You want to talk about a weird motherfucker? Oh my God. Jim Irsay's a weird dude. Weird dude. All the drugs that man has taken in his life, and he's taken a lot of drugs. A lot of drugs. He is a completely weird dude. It's a good movie, though. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. I just remember the haircut. And he kept calling him, "Oh, you're hot shot, huh? Oh, you're the hot shot." And he was like pouting and shit like that. If it wasn't for, yeah. Oh, okay. Let me read some of the comments, guys. Get into you. I've been rambling too much word salad for me with no dressing. How does he make that much fucking money? Like, for what? Like what does he do? Like, dude, like, if I'm a player, I would just revolt and say, like, until that guy is gone, like, I won't play another game. Like, for him to make that much money, to do what? What is he like? He does 2 press conferences a year where he answers nothing, and they all have this pre-approved. Okay, you want to know a mouthpiece? Tom Pelissero is a mouthpiece. Anytime Roger Goodell wants something out, if Pelissero is tweeting it, Roger Goodell told him to. I'll just tell you that. How is Irsay an owner? His dad. His dad was the original owner of the Colts. He's the one who yanked them out of Baltimore overnight in the moving trucks. Literally. Like, the reporters were like, yeah, there's a bunch of moving trucks down at the facility moving all the stuff out. That's how they found out the team was moving from Baltimore to Indianapolis. Dude, he looked sick, man. He looked like I saw him and I'm like, that's a man that does not look well. Yeah, and the wife too a little bit. He was a weirdo. Like he's like, I don't want to look at your face when you have sex. I don't want to see the face. I don't like to see the face. He just kept her in dog. Oh, I have no doubt about it, dude. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I know he was badly addicted to painkillers too because he was a power lifter and he got injured, steroids and shit, and it fucks your joints up and it breaks down your soft tissues and stuff, your collagens in your joints and erodes your cartilage like battery acid. And he started popping, painkillers. It's like a guy like him, he gets caught. Like, remember about like 5, 6 years back, maybe even 7 years back, he got caught with that woman who died, or like he was the last one with her, and he had like 27K in his car and a whole bunch of painkillers and stuff that he didn't have prescriptions for, and scripts that he gave her, and all this stuff. And like, how does this guy just still like? How does the league just have this guy like? Not, you can't take the team from him, but still, it's just such a fucking embarrassment. It's like you got a guy like Stan Kroenke who's got to pay the city of St. Louis and some of the other owners. They've got to write a check for almost 800 million. Like, what a fucking embarrassment. That's embarrassing. Like, this league makes billions of dollars, and they're going to make even more next year when Amazon gets the rights to the fucking the streaming. Then it's really going to go ape shit. Don't let them ever cry poverty, ever. See, but I saw them. Oh, it was a musical? I didn't know it was a musical, Matt. I didn't know it was a musical. Oh, The Bronx Tale. That Chaz Palminteri. I mean, I know the movie like the back of my hand, but all those mafia movies and shit. I mean, they used to film The Sopranos around here a little bit. They did a couple of scenes here. They did the kid's funeral here by the high school, and they did a scene where it was the two Jew guys. One got hit in the street coming out of the Chinese restaurant. Boom! They did that right over here on Congress Street. I remember that many, many years ago. Jackie Jr.'s funeral. They did it right across the street from Dickinson High School. I remember that. It was during school. It was during the school day too that they did it because it was in the fall. But I don't know if anybody saw. Like, they probably did, but it was, if you saw the school, it's kind of on a hill and it's looking down. It's literally right across the street. If any of you guys watch The Sopranos, so it's good to talk like this and just relax because the game was good. It could have been better, but it's what we needed in terms of just getting a win, looking semi, in control, nothing stressful. There was a few, tense moments, but nothing like, oh God, we're gonna fucking die. I think the closest we all came to that was that end to half sequence where they totally botched the fucking double dip with the Allen getting his hand hit and the ball getting intercepted. That was the time the proverbial empty water bottle was going to go flying, but it didn't. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go take a shower. I'm going to come back and everything's going to be fine. And I literally came back and they were starting the second half and they went down and scored, and it was pretty much all she wrote from there. So all in all, I mean, it was a solid win. And I think it was Allen's first 4 touchdown pass game of the year, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's had one all year. I mean, he's had a few three touchdown pass games, but I don't think he's had a 4. If he's had it, it's only been one. Let me look. Okay, the Washington game. So this was his second. So yeah. So this was his second, and that was a good defense. I mean, we can't say that's not a good defense. I know they were missing a couple of players on defense, but they're night, Matt. Have a good one, bro. It's almost 3:30. Yeah, I forget you're over here. And I know I got Damager, I got Jake, I got a few West Coast guys in here, so we're all good, man. Yeah, I got a Damager. That's the new rule. I'm a psychopath. Like, I have true I have a lot of superstitions. Like I have to run 4.25 miles before the game, not right before the game, but like I'm too fucking nervous. I gotta do my whole little routine. It's I know it has no bearing on the game. The Bills have lost games and I've done it, but it's what, I don't know if you guys have those routines or rituals. I know I do. And they're huge. Yeah, I mean, fucking annoying, Jake. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Of course it would come down. And you know what? It was like they weren't mentioning it, and then it happened, and they mentioned it after. It wasn't like the proverbial jinx where they kept mentioning he hadn't done it. But what annoyed me was just the fact that they had scored a touchdown on the play before and fucking, you know, like you didn't even have a field goal out of that, just shit like that, man. It's just little things like that add up in bigger moments and bigger games, and you just can't have that stuff happen. I like that it was a bounce back win. They scored well, they defended well, but there's still so much. They still got to clean things up. It wasn't this perfect, like, oh, we're all back, everything's good now. It's like, hey, we won handily, but we gotta clean this shit up. We can't be turning the ball over two times a game, and on our side, on their side of the field, where we're taking scores off the board. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Yeah, it's kind of like that thing. It's like you don't have to hear about the shit no more, but still, it's like I would have liked to seen Allen throw 5 touchdown passes. I would have liked to seen. I would have liked to see Knox get 3, or at least get the chance. Even if you get the penalty, great. You get the first down right there to Sanders. He was open. Maybe if his hand doesn't get tipped, that pass gets completed, or maybe it gets incompleted. Who knows? But still, it's just that's frustrating, man. It's just frustrating. But as far as what I extrapolated from the game, defensively, they played well. They were physical, and physicality can't be, you know, you can only see physicality. I mean, the only way you can really truly is to experience it, but we're not going to get to experience it in an NFL game. But we can watch guys fighting off blocks, beating their blocks, or being able to block guys. It's like in terms of like on paper, you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars on paper and you see the Bills. It's like, well, the Bills in totality, they should handle this team no problem. But when you take away Feliciano, Spencer Brown, you just make a bunch of sloppy mistakes, turning the ball over 3 times, and probably should have had 4 turnovers. You're not going to win. You're just, physically, the Bills lost that game. And on paper, I know some injuries and stuff. Bills has some injuries on the lines. The Saints easily, you physically beat the Bills if you just play like they do against Jacksonville, but they didn't. So that's why I don't apologize for wins. Don't do it. You'll see the Bills fans. Trust me, you'll run into the self-loathing Bills fan who will want to excuse away and apologize for just have none of it. Don't hear it. Shut them down. Be like, okay, bye. Have you watched the league this year? Okay, take that shit to your fantasy, to your Madden, to the Xbox, because that's where you exist. You can press reset, you can restart the game, you can win by 30 and feel good about yourself. Just dropped my phone. And that's not real life football. That's just not real life. Read some of the comments, guys. Oh yeah. I don't know, man. It's not just Goodell. It's the comp. They're not going to do that till there's an owners meeting and then a competition committee, and it's just. But like I've said multiple times on here, it wasn't even a Bills game, but that Ed Hockey League, that was disgusting. You literally almost threw 30 flags in a game for almost 300 yards in penalties. There's no fucking way that should happen. No way. It's not the Raiders of the 70s versus the Chargers, where those games would get ugly and shit and fist fight. No, like, what are you doing, man? Ah, man. What do I think of Midnight's last question? Let me see. What do you think about the Bills? What do you think the Bills will need to do next to beat New England? Do you think New England? I mean, anybody is a challenge. Anybody, of course, they're a challenge. The Bills need to be physical, and they need to beat them on the line of scrimmage. They need to win the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball. Just limit New England's run game and make that kid be a rookie, which he is. That's it. And on offense, get your linemen back, be even more physical than you were tonight. Keep Josh clean and score. I mean, it doesn't sound, it's no deep-seated analysis or anything like that, but that's what you do. There's some of the comments, guys. Oasis, he's never gonna do that. He's just not gonna do that, dude. He's so. Has that guy ever done anything anybody's liked? How about that? Name one thing Roger Goodell, you heard a press release or you read something like, "Oh, I like this." Nothing. I've never seen anything that I've ever liked from that guy. I've never heard anything. Nothing. Go listen to his sound bites. They're as robotic and monotone and emotionless and dry as they get. I don't care. And ugh, he can make anything sound completely and utterly, totally nails on a chalkboard boring. I think he's on somebody's practice squad. He was good at Iowa. I liked him. He intercepted the pass a lot, but they're not going to get that kind of guy to replace him because they're going to move Jane Jackson up and they would get a veteran. That's what they would do. Somebody like a Quentin Dunbar, somebody like that who's still on the street, has starting experience, played. I don't know what the kind of scheme he's played in, so it's kind of, we'll see, man. Hopefully it's weeks, not the rest of the year. Let's just put it that way. They need to erase Matthew June. Well, they erased him last year. Nah. He can't even stay healthy, man. And that nobody signed that guy. He's having a great year. Don't get me wrong. Judon's having a great year, but they were able to handle him with the Ravens last year. Like in that Ravens game in the playoffs, like he did nothing. So whatever plan, and I know they run a similar scheme. It's very aggressive. They mix up their coverages a little more than the Ravens do, but their fronts are pretty similar, especially size, body type wise. So, we'll see. The mac and cheese grudge match. Oh God, yeah, that's a pretty good one. It's like who hates mac and cheese? Like, what type of horrible childhood did you have? Like, did they just make you eat Kraft mac and cheese where that's not mac and cheese? That's just powdered fake cheese and dehydrated macaroni. That's not mac and cheese. Like, I'm sorry. Somebody needs to take him to like Morton's and get him the lobster mac, and he'll understand, what real mac and cheese is. He's got the money. Just go to Morton's, order the lobster mac and cheese. You'll be happy. You'll thank me later. Well, Dawkins, I mean, that's why having the extra time is so vital. And it's advantageous now. It's like you can get a good assessment of where Feliciano is. I think he'll be good to go. I think his calf will be ready. You get Spencer Brown back, knock on wood, and then you're locked. Your line is as good as it's going to get this year with that group. That's the unit that you ideally want to roll out there every Sunday, Saturday, whatever day for the rest of the season. Regular season, postseason. That's the unit. Left to right. So, and you have an extra, and you get a look at them. So you're going to get another look at them against a like opponent. You both will play Tennessee. Slightly different because they're not playing against Derrick Henry. And, Tennessee's going to be desperate. They're going to be desperate to get a win. They got embarrassed against Houston. And that's, a former Belichick guy in Vrabel. And their defense is solid. And again, Mac Jones is a rookie. He's going to have bad games. He's going to make some bobble-headed mistakes. People are treating this guy like he's, it's this, we just victim of the moment, like just these broad sweeping statements like, oh, he's Mac Jones is with Bill Belichick. He's figured it out. That he's been touched by the hand of God up in New England. Oh my God, Saint Belichick has baptized him. He is impervious to all. Like, no. Something's bad is gonna happen. Don't worry. He's a rookie. It's gonna happen. He's gonna get blessed. Trust me. Somebody's gonna bless him. And then he's going to look like a rookie, and you're like, oh, what happened to Mac Jones? Is he regressing? Were we fooled? Oh, come on. Please. People need to, relax. People have a bizarre affinity for Belichick. Yeah, you know what it is? He looks like this dude that's just a regular dude. He dresses like a bum. Like, you see him, he literally dresses like a bum. Like, you see him going into One Patriot Place. The guy literally fucking owns the place. He's walking in there with holy sweatshirts, literally sweatshirts with holes and tears and fucking shitty looking sweatpants and terrible Air Monarch sneaker. He dresses like a fucking bum. He bought everything is at the Five and Dime. They were giving up away a bunch of old Patriot stuff at the Five and Dime or the Goodwill, and he went and found it. Oh, it's vintage. No, he's the fucking one of the winningest coaches in NFL history. That's just how he is. And one of these football lifers, you see him as a special teams assistant with Detroit as a young kid. It's just Jesus Christ. So he's kind of he's just a lifer who's got all this cachet. So he's going to be treated like a deity. It's when I started watching football, I think a guy like Don Shula got that deity treatment, Bill Walsh got that deity treatment. I remember very well. And so maybe you'd have the same nauseous sound as oh, it's Bill Walsh. This guy's a disciple of Bill Walsh. Oh, jizz on my face. That's what that's the kind of treatment that they would get. Let me read some of the comments. We'll see what happens. Mac Jones faces probably 4. I literally saw talking heads out Mac Jones ahead of Al. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Throwing check downs. I mean, again, it's just put the Patriot logo, have him do this. Belichick knows something, right? Like I've said many, many times. Remember this last year. Remember the year before last. Bills did. The Jets did. I'm sorry. Patriots didn't need a quarterback. Remember, they had Jarrett Stidham. Go on your Twitter. Go to advanced search. Put Jarrett Stidham or find some blue check marks, right? National ones. And you'll see what they would say. Oh, Bill, I remember Daniel Jeremiah. Belichick knows something about Stidham. Oh, Stidham, he's good. Okay, Stidham was trash. He was gonna resurrect Cam Newton too. Cam Newton was gonna. Everybody was like, oh, Cam Newton got released. Stop. Maybe the kid's a good quarterback, but stop thinking he's somehow found Brady's wishing well up there. It's just fairy tales about this fucking team. I'm sick of them, man. I heard the same shit about Ryan Mallett. My God. How did he do? I mean, this kid's done a little bit more than Ryan Mallett, but come on, man. Can you get more than a 10 games? Can you get more than 10 games? How about a season? How about a few seasons? The anointing oil with these fucking people, they're all so ready to drop it. It's they get it out and it's oh, you get some, oh, not you. You don't have the right logo on your helmet. Oh, God, the Patriots. Oh, yes. Oh, you get it. That's why people don't like them. It's like, you want to know why people are nauseated? It's like when Peter Schrager and all these guys start just going on these soliloquies about just shut the fuck up already. We're done. We're tired. This Patriot way, these fairy tales about this organization. Please. Like even Brady, he's down in Tampa, right? He's trying to win a whatever, his 8th Super Bowl, 7th Super Bowl, whatever he's trying to win, right? I have lost fucking count. And he's been to 10 of them. And they're doing this 7-part series, whatever, the Man in the Arena. It's like, that's shit retired people should be doing. It's like, I'll watch that shit when he retires, but right now the Bills play a game against them in 2 weeks. I don't give a fuck about him. I want the Bills to end his fucking career that day. Not in the worst way, but I want them to make him look bad. Period. I don't care about him. Like, celebrate them when they're gone. Like, while they're out there, they're still out there. Like, doing the in-season Hard Knock stuff too. I think it's kind of cool, but still, it's like, I don't want cameras around my fucking team, or the thought of cameras around my team during a game. Or it's a distraction. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it. Let me read some of the comments. Oasis is I remember when, is it McCorkle? Is that his name? Is Mac? Isn't it short for McCorkle? Like, literally. I remember when a media guy said Belichick doubles your best wide receiver and puts his best corner on your second wide receiver. People acted like, yeah, like he did something else too. And they acted like he basically unlocked the Da Vinci Code. I remember when they put, I think it was Aqib Talib on Jimmy Graham. And it's like, oh my God, he's so great at taking away your best option. Oh my God. Oh, Belichick is this great game plan. Maybe he is. Maybe he runs into a few good games here and there. But his record overall without Tom Brady, he's a below 500 coach. So say what you want about him. He's still below 500 coach. And he's got over 100. He's almost 140 games without Tom Brady. That's no light piece of change. That's a lot of games. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. He's a good coach. It's Michael. I knew there was a McCorkle in there. Michael McCorkle. Another quick non-Bills thing. Have you seen the shit that's going on in Cleveland between the fans and Baker Mayfield? How toxic is that shit? I just kind of picked up on that because I was so miserable about the Colts game. I really didn't give a fuck about anything. I kind of shut down a little bit and just, like, even my girl said, God, you're an asshole this week. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm a dickhead. And she's like, yeah, get your head out of your ass. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Me too, Doug. I want to see that kid, like, I want to see him be because he is our most physically talented defensive lineman. I want to see that kid take it, like, finally put it together in his third year, and start to be that. Like, maybe what happened tonight can be the catalyst for that. But anyway, have you guys seen what's going on, like, with that whole situation with the sniping back and forth on social media? Like, his wife is actually sniping back at fans and media, and he's talking shit, like, in his own way, like saying, oh, those fans that don't matter, that don't. Wow, that is rough what's going on there. Oasis, I honestly feel bad for Baker. I'm a fan of his. He's banged up. Cleveland would be so. Yeah, he's beat. I mean, he's what's that? Like, the shoulder, the bone is torn off, or the rotator cuff, the foot's hurt. I think he's got all kinds of nicks and bruises. He's really beat up. Those same fans, they can't. Oh, okay. They can't be quite on offense. He's a hothead. I will say that. Like, he definitely, like, lets his emotions get the best of him. Like, it's a very strange, like, yeah. It's very strange what's going on there. because this organization, it like as it's currently constructed, it didn't draft him. Some of the media there can like take him. Some of the media there doesn't like him. Some of the media there does like him. It's just a very odd situation what's going on. Like it seems like he wants to like, you know what? I like it here. I love it here. I'll stay here. I'll play here. And then the other part of it is like it seems like they don't want to pay him either. It's very strange. I mean, because if you look at before, I mean, they were terrible. I mean, at least he's a above 500 player. He isn't playing well, but he is fucked up. Like physically, he's really beat up. And their offensive, it's crazy how beat up he is because the way they're built with their line and their run game. I know some of their backs have been hurt, some of their linemen have been hurt, but still, like it's built to protect him. It's not built to have him beat up like this. So maybe it's a Stefanski problem. I don't know. Well, that was my comp for Oasis. Like I can send you a tweet that I put out. If you go into Twitter archives and you put my handle and put John Elway, I said Allen is Elway 2.0. And I seen Elway in the 80s, like play. Like when he was before he was beat up and everything like that in the early to mid, not well, more so you know, he still had a bit of his mobility and stuff like that, but like in the mid to late 90s, he was pretty much, he retired at the right time. Like he was really going to fall off the cliff. Like I remember seeing prime Elway. Allen's more athletic than Elway was, and the arm is, even if he cleans up a few more things mechanically, like his arm could be even better, which is insane. That was my comp for Allen, was Elway. He's Elway 2.0. Period. Take away Cleveland's run game, and Cleveland has two. Yeah, that's a crazy. I love Nick Chubb. If you could tier the running backs for me, the way Jonathan Taylor's playing, like right now, he's the best running back in the league. But I would still take Nick Chubb. I would take Nick Chubb ahead of Derrick Henry when he's healthy. I would take him ahead. I don't know who you would put in that fourth tier, but I think they're clearly ahead of Elliott and some of these other guys, clearly ahead of them. I'd have to really go and look like closely who I would take and like, but yeah, I would be hard pressed to find like better three than that, but better top two, in my opinion. He got hurt. Yeah, I remember. And then I know J.J. Watt. I think that was the last game J.J. Watt played too. Was a Cleveland game. And I think didn't he get hurt in that game? But he blasted Baker badly in that game, and I think that really finished the non-throwing shoulder. How was watching Baker in the preseason? He throws the ball like he throws a nice ball, but he's small. Like he's small. That was honestly the thing I noticed about him. He was small. Like when he was in the huddle, like he was small. Like he doesn't like when he moves around. It's like I saw Tyrod scramble, right? And when Tyrod scrambles, like you could tell, like there's a pretty athletic guy running with the football. But when Tyrod throws the ball, it's nothing pretty. It's nothing special. Like when you see it live, it's not. When Baker throws it, he's got a little juice to it. You could see he throws a nice tight spiral. The ball jumps out of his hand a little better. Allen, when you watch Allen in person and see Allen in person, you can tell like that's a different type of dude, like playing quarterback, like as opposed to the other. It was just so obvious the physical talent where it was. It was like and I sound like a homer. I've told the story more than once, and I saw it again a few weeks ago against the Jets and Mike White. It's like it couldn't be more obvious. Like when I was watching Zach Wilson warm up in the end zone, they had him working out in the end zone for like over 40 minutes, throwing, rolling out, doing all this shit just in a hoodie and sweatpants, a tracksuit, and small, narrow, small. But the ball flew out of his hand. Like he moves pretty well. The ball, and granted, routes on air, nothing. Just the ball flies out of his hand. Like he throws up like whoop, effortless. What about Jack Kemp? Jack Kemp, like he was a runner, but I know he was definitely nobody's thrower. Even then, he was not the best of throwers. And Bills played in War Memorial Stadium with a lot of bad weather. It was mainly a running league too, so it was supposed to be the more explosive league in terms of passing, but the Bills played more like an NFL team and were more dominant running team. I really don't think people understand how much of a cancer. Oh God, do I, dude? If you want to know somebody who doesn't like that dude, me. He's a toxic, toxic waste, toxic. I saw it here with the Giants. I told everybody, is like, that's addition by subtraction. He had that catch against Dallas in a game they lost. It turned him into a monster. The league acts and talks about this guy like that guy. I could name, like, he's what, the third or fourth best wide receiver on the team. I would take Jefferson over him. Robert Woods, when healthy, is amazing. Like, I would take him. Cooper. God, give me a laundry list of guys I would take over Odell Beckham. Easy. I would take Deshaun Jackson at his age over Odell Beckham. He does something special and unique. Odell Beckham, to me, is just a royal pain in the ass. Who will not. He's not a baller. He's not a baller. Like the one beat writer for Cleveland had the best quote about him. He's a pseudo celebrity masquerading around as a football player. That's what he is. He's not a football player anymore. He thinks he's great, but he's not great. It's like who's the safety for like he plays hard. He's a physical player, but he's not great. He talks about himself, and some people in the media that like him talk about him like he's great. But to me, Jamal Adams is not a great player. He's nowhere near as good as he's nothing like Micah Hyde or Jordan Poyer. And those guys get think about the publicity Jamal Adams gets. Even how about Jonathan Abrams for the Raiders compared to Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer? Who's a better player? I know it sounds like a homer, but who's the better player? Like, better players. Cannot tell me Hyde and Poyer aren't better players or have had been more consistent and on winning teams. Like, Seattle's done a little winning. The Raiders haven't won anything. They did beat Dallas today, though, which is always cool. But thanks, bro. I'm gonna jump off of here. Actually, it's almost 4 a.m. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I just wanted to thank you guys again for making the room so great. The room's nothing without you guys. It's just me in here blabbing, but I do that okay anyway. But it's better with you guys, much better, a lot better, and especially after wins, especially after last week, that was just so miserable. And it was only this past Sunday too, and it seems like it lasted forever. Like, this week has drung on like no other week. And just think, if it would have been a regular week, we would have had all day tomorrow, Saturday, and then it just would have been miserable. So I'm glad they got this little bit of nasty taste out of our mouths until next Monday. Enjoy some games. Thank you for spending it with me, man. I appreciate it. Victor, you, Oasis, Midnight, you were blowing the fucking room up midnight. Yeah, they're all pros. They're better players. Jake, as always, brother. Damager's a fucking beast. Flybaby is money. Steve, all you dudes, man. You guys are fucking aces. Hussein was in here earlier. A lot of guys. Thomas, you guys were crushing it. I know sometimes guys can't make it in. Like Victor came in a little bit late. I know Christian's in here. Thank you so much, guys. Oh yeah, we're celebrating. Hell yeah, it's nice. Hopefully, hopefully that's the case. Hopefully that's the case. I really, really hope that. So let's see what happens this week, guys. I know it's just nice we get to sit back as observers and just watch. Sunday, Monday, and Thursday, and just see what happens. And then even next Sunday, because the Bills don't play till Monday, so we basically get 2 Sundays, a Thursday, and a Monday of football that we're just relaxed observers. And then on that Monday, we get to watch the game. So love it all, man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Like if you want, subscribe if you want. I've gotten actually like 20 some new subscribers. So I really appreciate if you find me and subscribe to me for whatever reason. Thank you. I don't think I'm doing anything that special, but I definitely love the Bills and I love talking about it with you guys. Peace, guys. Damager, definitely always Dave, Victor, Spy Baby. Peace out, guys. Oh shit. Go Bills, motherfuckers. Happy Thanksgiving.